Hi everyone, we should be live now. Let me just come back over here and get some some audio. It's cool. It's outright cold here in Mexico tonight. So that's why the parka. Okay, so let me just get everything set up here. And Colleen's right here as well. She's just over on the other computer because the other day we were doing this, it was just too hard with Colleen typing in a lot of messages in the chat room, and I had a lot of screens open and stuff with screen share and whatnot. So we just have Colleen on another computer over on the side. That'll make things easier. So you may see Colleen pop in and out of the picture. So just quickly before you let us know where you are, because we love that aspect, can everyone just give us a 5-5 on the video and the level of the audio? Are we coming in loud and clear? Annie Davis says there is snow in Ontario.
Yes, Canada. It's cold. We think it's cold here, but it's colder.
Mikola, thank you, Mikola. Mikola says 5-5. Laura, Misty, Lynette, Tyler, hi Ty. 5-5. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Dallas.
it's going by too fast. Amy, I saw Amy in there. We love you. It's going crazy. It's going crazy. Okay, let's go back.
You guys are awesome.
Let's go back to where everyone's from because we love that. So Lori from Albany, New York. It's upstate New York, capital country of New York. A lot of vampires were up that way. So we got you covered. But welcome to the show. And she says it's cold in Albany. Medicine Hat.
I used to live in Medicine Hat.
Beautiful country, beautiful area.
Just for a few years, but.
Patty from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Ireland, Shannon, Ireland.
It's going by so fast. Texas and oh my God.
Wisconsin.
Wow.
Germany, Cincinnati, Vernon. Wow.
Wow.
Sedona. Wow, this is awesome. Myrtle Beach, Windsor, Ontario.
Newmarket, David. That's David again from Newmarket,
Creek,
Ontario.
California. Florida.
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona.
Tennessee, Atlanta, Kenosha.
Wasn't there a great verdict today from Kenosha?
Was it in?
Yes.
Was his trial in Kenosha, Wisconsin? Yeah. So that's good. It's good that it came out
guilty.
Acquitted. That's right, because that's a good sign that things will move faster. If there was a hung jury or something, or if there was a guilty vote, he never would have been found guilty in the long run of this, but it just would have taken more time. So that's a good sign that it was a clean acquittal.
And the judge seemed really nice at the end.
I never saw anything. So please speak to it, Angel.
He was thanking the jurors and saying what a wonderful job they did, and he just seemed like a really kind man. Now I don't know who he is exactly. This is the first I saw of him, but yeah, he seemed like a nice man.
Beautiful.
German woman from Spain. Beautiful.
Angelica is from Virginia in Tucson. Joanne from Ontario.
Chicago in the house. Florida.
Kenosha in Gematria is Delta 4. Ooh. Very cool, Shauna.
That's probably a calm, right? The fact that it all took place. They say it's a false flag from Delta 4.
Yeah, very cool.
Australia.
I sent the link to Aaron Gorn to be on the show tonight, but remember, in the UK right now, it is 2 a.m.
Yeah, we sent it to our UK family. We'll see who can make it. Bless their hearts. It's so late.
Veronica is from Victoria province in Australia. Wonderful to have you with us. Victoria has been through so much, and it's such a beautiful place. So much Tartarian genius there.
Des Moines, Iowa. Judge Kenosha. Yeah.
That's the cool thing about Australia in terms of when Australia kind of was developed and modernized. It's got Tartarian hands all over it. It's so easy to see. Nelson, BC, Quantum Good. Yeah, we love Nelson. We love the people in Nelson. Colleen and I have always felt though that
Do you feel a change in the energy because there?
Yeah,
there
for a
was
while there's been a real
dark
darkness.
energy.
There has over the whole Kootenays. There's just been a darkness.
The Slocan Valley, but
Yeah.
what a beautiful, beautiful place.
Beautiful and beautiful people.
A little bit chilly in the winter, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, but
It's Canada.
it is.
It's freaking.
freaking cold.
Shirley Hall says no snow yet in Toronto. That's quite amazing because it's cool here in Mexico.
Yeah.
It was cool.
We can feel the coolness from Canada.
I wore a sweatshirt all day today, and you know normally it's hot during the day. So
Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Mass. Boy, we need
Via Los Angeles.
we need some clouds lifted in this world, and Boston, Massachusetts is another one of those cities. Is another one of those cities that needs healing. There's so much darkness been done on purpose to places like New York and Boston.
Christy.
And Paisley,
Energy.
Paisley is Nelson's neighbor here in Grand Forks, BC. Know Grand Forks very, very well. Very beautiful, beautiful country. From the south of the Okanagan. What's the beautiful little town at the base? There's, of course, Vernon, Kelowna, Penticton, Summerland, Oliver. But wait, Osoyoos, yeah, just above Osoyoos. There's just that great place where you get all the fruit and stuff. And from there all the way to Grand Forks, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous country. In fact, from Grand Forks all the way to Creston, it's just, through the Slocan, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous country. Canada's gorgeous country. It's a nice place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there.
I'll have a summer home.
Wouldn't want to live there. I was born and raised there.
Come on, it'd be fun to go back for a week in the winter.
Really?
Knowing you can go back.
Really?
Let's see, Queensland energy has shifted big time since last night. Wow.
Thank you, Christy. And for those, if you've got frequency updates, we want to hear them from everyone because everything is in flux right now.
A friend of mine sent a video of a helicopter flying over her house in South Africa, Swaziland, and it was a helicopter with it was carrying this round, it looked like it could have been like a scanner or something, but it was hanging from the helicopter and it was, flying it. And she said that it looked like they were scanning for oil or gold or silver. And I'm like, I think they're scanning the tunnels to see where the tunnels are. So if I could get that on here, I would have. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll try to get it on. It was very interesting.
Thank you for sharing that. There's Linda Thomas. Linda's from Santa Cruz, California. Santa Cruz is the hills above San Jose, hills above San Jose, and those hills above Santa Cruz, which is just south of San Francisco, is some of the most beautiful country. I mean, that whole area is, and if you go on the mainland side, closer to Redwood City, you get up into the area known as Ukiah. It is just heaven on earth. And Linda, I mean, Santa Cruz is just another one of these heaven on earth places. And that's where the Doobie Brothers hail from. Pat Simmons still lives there in Santa Cruz. And
sounds like a nice place. I'd like to go there.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very beautiful, special.
Bruton, Alabama. I'd like to go there too.
Bruton, Alabama. I know. I honestly, Colleen and I,
sweet home.
We and it is sweet home, and the people are so beautiful. Put through shit because the Southern Americans have been used.
Ireland.
So that's all.
Los
Southern Americans have
Gatos,
been used.
California, the cats. The
Yes.
cats in California.
Yeah.
Very cool, Connie. Michigan, Stockholm, Sweden.
Don't send any more cats to us. We love cats, but we have so many here. It's ridiculous.
We do.
So hello from Michigan, Amy. Hello, Amy. We love you so much. Dawn Forsberg from Stockholm, Sweden, 3 a.m. in
Oh,
Stockholm.
bless your heart.
Wow.
It is Friday night, but still, that's
Yeah.
really late.
Bless you. And it must be pretty cool in Stockholm,
Right?
being November, what is it, 19 today? So absolutely wonderful. Laura is from Liverpool. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Fellow Albertan, Frank Preeper. Virtuous unicorns. We have 15 cats. We have more than you, but that's a lot of cats. I know Tony has like 12 or she had 17 at one time. Tony
Wow.
Wheel. Yeah, there was a lot.
Eugene, admit.
We have rescue cats too. Oh, so sweet.
Hi, Eugene.
Hello, Albertan.
The shirtless wonder. And at this point, it's just stubbornness that he doesn't have a shirt on because it's freaking freezing. So Eugene lives here just, not that far from us, and it's freezing. So come on, just male pride at this point. Put a shirt on.
The stubborn bull.
Well, we love you so much. You're
We do.
very, very special, stubborn bull. So welcome to the show, my beautiful friend.
Roxanne wants to
Our
move in
beautiful
with us.
child.
Well, there is a process.
Yeah, Roxanne, and the process is you can never turn on the red light. That's the thing. Roxanne, you don't have to, and you're not allowed to turn on the red light. It just has to be the blue light here.
Calgary
So,
Northeast. Well, I know where that is.
Valerie Secor says, welcome to the show, Eugene, and that you're sexy.
Oh,
And Valerie,
shirtless.
yeah, Valerie's pretty switched on. So that's a good comment. Marina from Portugal, Portuguese.
It could be a shirt that looks like, that's what we should get you, a shirt that looks like you're not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
What if I told you I'm wearing that shirt right now?
Let's just tell everybody that.
Yeah,
then.
that's right. Well, yeah, let's just not even go down that path. Christy says, hey, Mowgli, Maverick, and good memory. And he is, Colleen
He is our
says,
Mowgli.
Colleen says all the time, he's our Mowgli. He's our Mowgli.
He's our
Yeah,
jungle boy.
yeah, he's, and the thing about,
Why would you want to tame the jungle boy?
and
You
the thing,
don't.
yeah, and the thing about Eugene is that he's so wise. Like everything that comes out of Eugene's mouth, other than when he's yelling at the dogs, please don't do that. But everything that comes out of Eugene's mouth is just pure wisdom. So to be 21 years of age, it's just your screensaver.
Be 21 years of age.
21 years of age, and to have that level of gnosis is really, really stunning. I'm just going to help. Go ahead and put your password in. No, just retype it. Colleen in computers, Colleen in technology. Okay, nope. So you just have to remember what you said it was.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, you need to get back in Pumpkin Pie. So do you want me to help? Eugene, talk for just a little bit.
Well, lots of interesting things happening. I don't know, Charlie, did you guys get into like all the media talking about, Dallas and all that?
We're gonna get into that in just a sec. We've just been saying hi to everyone, but yeah, speak to it just for a little sec. I'm gonna help.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, in all these movies like Atlas Shrugged, V for Vendetta, there's this motif of like the cabal and I guess the comatose meat suits, like them trying to cover up the truth or cover up the, what's actually happening behind the scenes. And then this motif of it's, dark to light, right? They're forced to look at it I think that's happening right now, where like Charlie was saying, that the media, like, they wouldn't be giving coverage, they wouldn't be covering Q, they wouldn't be covering the what do you call it, the bloodline, the Jesus strand. They wouldn't be talking about JFK or senior, JFK Jr. or senior, because it doesn't serve their purpose. So it's obvious that, you know, we're getting close to the end of the movie, where all these, you know, antagonists are having to face the biggest problem ever, which is the John Galt, which is the people that are behind the scenes, working to, you know, bring the whole system down and create a new system. And then that is the whole antithesis to, you know, what's going on right now, like the satanic show that's going on right now. So it's amazing that we're at this point.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we should play the video. I think so many have seen it today. There's just been so many views on it, but the video in question, if you're not aware, is everywhere. It's on our 2 YouTube channels. It's on our Rumble channel as well. And it's been seen by over 40,000 viewers so far. So essentially all the video does is it just takes from basically the last 2 weeks, and it's all just mainstream clips from the last 2 weeks. And what it's just simply showing is how the mainstream media has gone out of their way when honestly, not even the truth community gave the events of November 2nd and Dallas, even the truth community didn't give it a lot of play. Ultimately, there weren't that many people that were there, and the ones that were there were really connected to Michael, Negative 48, and of course to Mike Penny and ML. So they were there, but beyond that, you know, I think Patriot Dave was there as well, but I don't think that there were tons. But what we want to point out to you is that this proves, like, how many times do I need to prove and reprove that you just relax, breathe, we got this, we're watching a movie? Because that 18 minutes of video clips from the mainstream media once again proves in plain sight that this is a movie. So what you're looking at is that where they should not, and remember, it's dangerous. It's really, really dangerous to go through this stuff and bring this stuff up, because it's John F. Kennedy Jr. And you don't, when John F. Kennedy Jr. and the Kennedy family, President Kennedy and John F. Kennedy Jr., you're pulling on heartstrings here, and you're giving people hope, and they never want to give people hope. So that would be the first clue that they're being forced into doing this. So that's the premise of the video, is that what you're seeing is that the mainstream media is owned and controlled, and they're being forced to talk about it. Now, of course, they're denying it. In most cases, they're denying it, and they're making fun of it, sort of ridiculing it. But that's their way. And then when all of this gets proven, shown, and it plays itself out, then that's what people are going to see en masse, is that it's fresh in everybody's mind because it just happened. This is a good clue that things are progressing towards Christmas here. So that's a really good sign, and that it's fresh in everybody's mind. And so the mainstream media, to a man and a woman, they denied and ridiculed all of this stuff. But they put it in plain sight, and they gave people hope by saying that there is a significant crew. And it's so funny because when you look at the clips, they started by saying there were hundreds of thousands, then tens of thousands, to thousands, to Rachel Maddow, hundreds. So it went from 100,000 to 100 in real short order. So they're being forced to do this. And remember, when you start getting into MSNBC taking half an hour on their nightly news to go through the Jesus strand with you, okay? On their own site, the Jesus strand, I don't think has, I don't think it has 100,000 views on its own site. But here, broadcasting out mainstream across America, they're going out and going over in great detail the Jesus strand. So what they were saying is that Abraham Lincoln is the grandfather of this generation of movers and shakers in America. That would be John Kennedy and his older brother Joe Jr. Kennedy, and that they're not actually Kennedys, that they're Abraham Lincoln's grandchildren. Again, the father would be William Wallace Lincoln. And then Tab Kennedy, the brother of William Wallace, Tab Lincoln, the brother of William Wallace Lincoln, gave birth or provided, was part of the process to procreate two boys, being General Patton and Benito Mussolini. And so then you get these kids. And so President Kennedy's older brother, Joe Jr., his son, and you can see a lot of the similarities in looks, is General Michael Flynn to Joe Jr., making President Kennedy and General Flynn, or making the Junior, JFK Jr. and General Michael Flynn first cousins. So it's very, very, very cool. And so you see that President Trump is of that group as well.
And yes, Lincoln is from the Colonies, right?
That's right. So these are the Drews. And this is that particular group that's very, very secretive, and very, 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 very pure.
And very true, Amy, how the white hats are flipping the narrative and using predictive programming for the light side. It's very interesting how they've taken the playbook from the dark and they've just flipped it upside down, which is brilliant in many ways.
Yeah, and so Jill Haynes in the chat just said in all capital letters, "We are the Jesus strand." And don't forget that. Don't forget that there may be a very, very specific branch of this that goes back to Jesus. But remember, we are all of us here. We are all of Abel through his brother Seth, and that is to Abraham, and that is to Jacob. I mean, you can't have finer examples. And then that perfect bloodline of 42, from Abraham through Jacob, King David, takes you all the way to Jesus Christ. And that's that perfect 42 that you see in the Bible. And that those three perfect numbers are 12, 24, and 42. So it's really magical. But anyways, so there you are on NBC News for a half an hour going over the Jesus strand. I mean, wow. So they're obviously being forced to do that. Now, let's start and sort of get right into this then, the title of the show, because at this point there is a lot of craziness going on within this truth community, and I'm sure therefore everywhere. Just everywhere in the world right now, there's just craziness that is going on. And so one of the things that's occurring is that people are, I honestly never thought it would happen, but people are really jumping off the bandwagon of Michael Brian Protzman, -48. And you have a lot of people that have come out taking big swings in the direction of -48. And it really surprises me, because once again, there's nothing that Michael has done that is for fame or fortune. So, I mean, clearly not. The group is accepting donations now, but that's because they're living in an expensive American city, and they're resolved to stay there until such time that the events play out. And that's all. They're simply asking, and rightly so. A lot of people are reaching out and helping to make this. I think, don't you? It's just a miracle that they're all still there.
I know, right?
And Justin and Aaron are really, I think, having the times of their
Yeah,
lives
I'm so proud of
as
them.
well.
I'm so proud of them for
All of them, everyone.
sticking around, and they're really doing an amazing thing behind the scenes. They are they're adding a frequency and an energy there, and they're getting noticed. And it's not easy to hold the line, and they're holding the line in Dallas. So that to me is just, you know, those that have gone and those that could go, that's amazing. We couldn't, but we're very proud of them. We're here holding the line for you guys there as well. So we love you very much.
And you guys saw the freaky geniuses that got together. I feel like just, you know, all the Q, you know, members that are really dedicated, you know, not the turncoats that'll switch at a moment's notice. Getting together is so powerful. So, yeah.
It is. It is. And they're taking a lot of flack for it, and they're on the front lines, you know, so to speak. And it's not easy. So we're very, very.
And Charlie knows this. Truth always takes flack.
It does.
Yep.
When all 48's doing is giving you math, God's math 87, truth 87, justice 87. That's all he's giving you. That's all he's offering you. And they add up, but people don't want it.
Exactly. And they're teaching people how to do it. And they're teaching people a new language that gives us another tool. Right.
Well, but remember, the truth be told, there are some people that have just dismissed it, and that's simply because they don't want it, they don't understand it, and they don't want to do the work to understand it, which is just incredible, because you're turning your back on God, because that is how God communicates to us. It's all through symbology and numerology. It completely is. So you're turning your back completely, which we're going to get into in just a sec. But the bigger issue is that when Michael began to make connections, and then talking about the John Galting process, and then obviously specifically talking about the dates, which again are bang on. You know, all of us did the gematria on all of this, and those dates are huge from November 2nd through this passageway to December 5th. And it hasn't played out, and that's because this is a fluid motion, and it's a plan from God. And there is no time for God. Time and space are an illusion. That is part of this delusory illusion of the Maya, is this time and space. The only thing that truly exists is the now. You know that. It's the only thing that can exist, because it's the only thing that ever is the now. And that is that what's known as God's eternal moment. And that's it. And that's why you can easily deduce from that this is day 7. So God created everything within the first 6 days, and this is day 7, and it's never moved from day 7, and nor will it. And the 7th day is a Sabbath day. So we're meant to be here in peace so that we can connect to God and come back home. Makes perfect sense. It absolutely makes perfect sense. So attacking Michael, Brian Protzman, and negative 48 is really more so being tied to the Q stuff. And so that's why I wanted to put that video out, because it's once again, because that's what Colleen and I did for you 2 years ago when we did the takedown of the cabal from A to Z, showing you how the mainstream media was doing all of the work for us to prove that that Trump had taken down the world, and that he went around forcing everyone into capitulation. It was so clear and easy to see. That video in a combined state is now, and it's hard to say how many views, but we can verify that there's over 7 million. Justin and Negative 48 are live now with Mike Penny. Awesome. So what was I just saying? Yeah, so we can confirm that there's over 7 million views of the takedown of the cabal from A to Z, and probably a lot more than that. And it's just common sense in plain sight, okay? And so that's why I wanted to do the video, just showing you the mainstream media that just laughs at all of this. And that's what so many people in the truth community are doing, are just laughing at anybody that puts credence and credibility in Donald Trump. Incredible, just incredible. We're dealing with the worst scum of the world, which are these US presidents after John Kennedy. And they all just lie. They say one thing and they all do another. And then you got 4 glorious years of Donald Trump. Promises made, promises kept, because he is a goodly, godly man. That's all you can go by. And then you saw all the bullshit investigations that have been proven to have no foundation at all. And that what General Flynn went through, and obviously he did it willingly, just shows massive hatred towards Trump and a massive lack of respect or concern for the law, because they knew that they were above the law and they were pulling every single string that they could to quickly try and squash Trump before anything could happen, which is why this wave of the bullshit stories that came out. And then, you just had gate after gate after gate. But you think Trump's a bad guy? I mean, you just saw the Democrats and all of the traitors in the Republican Party combine with one another to attempt to take Donald Trump out of office in the first 3 months of his presidency. And you think he's a bad guy? They're fighting for their lives. 1 + 1 will always equal 2, okay? And that's 2. They're fighting for their lives. It's so plain to see. And when you deny this, then that's on you. And the consequences are going to be never ending to you for denying the simple truth that is right in front of you. It's the same thing for not taking the time to take the selflessness of Michael Brian Protzman, Negative 48, teaching you around the clock this simple gematria and how it works out. And that's why he repeats things.
Blessing he is. What a tireless warrior he's been. And wow,
and he repeats things again and again so that you can incorporate them here. And then when you start to use it, then you'll own it forever. You'll never forget it ever if you just start to use it back. And so it's really a tremendous gift. And never ask for fame, never ask for money. I mean, it's just incredible, teaching this language of God. And so people are railing on that. But again, showing you, okay, that President Trump is completely atypical from the swamp monsters. He ran on the process of draining the swamp, and then he did. And if you missed that for 4 years and you call yourself a truther, shame on you, because Trump absolutely decimated these monsters. And promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump has to go down in history because John F. Kennedy never was able to finish his first term, never even got 3 years of a presidency. Donald Trump's 4 years are the golden glory of American presidents. And it went by so fast because it was bliss and there was so much truth that was flowing.
He had a lot of work to do. So it was really hard. And mainstream media wasn't covering any of the good stuff he was doing. All they were doing was setting up roadblocks
right. And so he took them attempting to destroy everything and turn the economy, as good as it's ever been, in a earth-wide environment that was toxic.
Now, those of you living in the States right now, can you share with us in the chat just what it must be like? Are people aware at all that there has been the Biden presidency has just been a complete failure? Do they even notice any of his speeches? Do they see the gas prices going up? Do
Well,
they feel,
all the prices,
do they
right?
feel the pinch everywhere? I mean, COVID seems to take all of the brunt of everything, but
Yeah. And did you see on the video that I put out today? Do you see one of the stories was one of the news agencies, 6 o'clock news, saying that and children are going to be feeling the pinch this Christmas as well, because Santa doesn't have enough helpers at the North Pole.
yeah, we saw that on
Yeah.
a newsreel, but
No,
is that really,
that's in the video
yeah, is
that I
that
put together.
really,
Yeah. So
really
yeah.
their narrative?
So you just see that they're liars. So it's like, F you, Biden, F you, Biden. And it's, oh, and they love you, Brandon. And they're just, go, Brandon, go, Brandon. And it's like, no, they're saying, fuck you, Biden. Okay, that's clearly what's being said. But you see, they're liars. And you see how quick and easy it is for them to lie. So Santa, kids are going to feel the pinch this Christmas too, because Santa doesn't have enough help. What's wrong with you people?
We've just had so many years of, oh, the next president's going to make it better. Oh, the next one will make it better. Well, this one, he kind of did the right thing, but no, it's the next one. I guess that's another program that
And
people
once
play.
again, with all of you that are denying that Trump won the election in a massive landslide, you're an idiot. I mean, you're flat, and you're talking about the majority of people with channels in the truth community. Don't believe this. You're idiots. You're complete brainless idiots, complete befuddled morons. You are, because everywhere that Biden went, and he hardly went anywhere, there was no one to show. He had maybe six satanic people trying to do the 666, reach out and touch evil. That's all that showed up for Biden. Everywhere Trump went was insanity with the number of people everywhere that he went. And the example that I love to use the most is California, which I've always known and felt from when I was a kid, that Washington, Oregon, and California are just filled with very conservative, family first, patriotic, conservative, beautiful people. And that it was only when they started to rig the machines with Bill Clinton that suddenly the Democrats won those areas. And now forget about it. They're going to win because those are Democrat strongholds. Bullshit. They've been lying to you about everything. And that's one of the biggest lies. And when that election was going on, the rallies in Washington, Oregon, and especially California lined up down the I-5 for hundreds of miles, just littered with vehicles. This is a victory like you can't imagine. He won so big. And if anyone is denying this, you, like I said, you're brain dead. That your brain's there, but clearly you've misplaced it or you're not using it, because you have to be a complete, utter denier. Okay, because the Nile is not just a river in Egypt. You have to be that, or a complete witless wonder, to not get the fact that election was hijacked. I mean, the bullshit that went on. And Trump won massive. He won massive, more than you could possibly know. Some of the numbers that you hear, even out of the Trump camp, those are very, very small numbers. They're just playing it sort of conservative so that the average person can wrap their minds around it. Trump won massive. I know it was confirmed to us, because I was saying that I think on election night that Biden was going to get less than 20 million votes, and he did. He got less than 20 million votes, and you can imagine where all the other votes went to. They went to Trump.
Did you hear today on the 19th? Can anyone confirm that I saw a little document that said that Biden was getting an operation and that he would be put under or something, and so he needed to write a document saying that Kamala would be president if he had any issues with this operation. So yeah,
Go
Part,
figure.
what's that?
I just said, go figure.
Mm. So maybe there's another twist to the plot soon. Don't know.
Yeah, I think they put so much time and effort into Biden having to step down or something happening with Biden. I mean, James Woods has to be screaming at this point, give me a break.
My head's about to explode. Give me a break.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, the
Yeah.
twists and turns of this movie, and
Yeah.
I know how you all feel.
and how many people even knew about that, about Biden shitting himself with the Pope?
I did not know that. That's another
And
disgusting
and
twist.
so that's in the video that I put up today, right? And then did you see Trump? Do you see Trump teasing about this? So what really went down there? What really happened there, right? Because the live signal with Biden and the Pope suddenly went dead because Biden shit himself, and so so they shut down the live feed, and of course Trump knows very well what happened or what they're accrediting to have happened, and he's just having so much fun with it. And of course now Trump is going out of his way to point out that Kamala Harris is not Kamala Harris, and therefore who is she or he? So it's just hilarious. And remember, at the very front of the video that I released today, there's from Fox, Tucker Carlson. There's Tucker Carlson starting the segment today. And what was Tucker Carlson doing? He was showing the set that the Biden administration had built across the road from the White House to show that that was the Oval Office and that they were in the White House when they weren't. So like Tucker Carlson said, so that begs the question, who is in the White House and who is really running this country? And so that's Fox News, and the highest rated show on Fox News, which is Tucker Carlson. And Fox has the highest ratings of all mainstream news in America. So nobody gets more views other than, and who's the other great guy on Fox? The two of them that are just leading the way.
Hannity or something?
Hannity, Sean Hannity. So Hannity and Tucker Carlson have the two highest rated mainstream news shows in all of America. And they are just doing halcyon work to point out the blaring truth. So this is what we're dealing with right now. So we have the truth community completely unglued and just chickens running around with their heads cut off. It's absolute insanity, and they're turning on this guy who came forward, and what he did is he taught you the language and the symbology, the numerology symbology of God, and he does it all selflessly, 15 hours a day, and with no structure for fame, for numbers, for money, anything. Hasn't done any of that, and he's just now being attacked in every single direction. And you have Trump, who had the best 4-year presidency in the history of America, and you living in a country. So this is for you, all of you truthers that don't have the courage to see this. Something's happened to you. Is that you know what every president's been like since Kennedy. They've all been liars. They say one thing and they do an absolute 180-degree turnaround. They're complete liars. Trump comes in, this evil Jesuit Freemason Trump comes in, and it's promises made, promises kept, turns in an absolute horrific, toxic, earth-wide economic market. He takes America's economy and makes it as strong as it's ever been, perhaps stronger than it's ever been, magic out of thin air. and he's balancing things left, right, and center. And he is taking prices down. You know, it's a John Kennedy
Getting rid of
thing.
the middleman.
Getting rid of the middleman, bringing prices down.
Trying to make the Supreme Court a good place.
That's right. In America.
Trying to make the politicians into good people.
Yeah. So he brought prices down in some areas by 90%. Okay. And remember, from day one, he ran on the fact that it was fake news. And at the end of his 4-year presidency, in a poll that was done on mainstream, more than half of those who responded to the poll agreed that it was fake news.
And Eugene just said energy, right, Eugene?
Yeah, and I was just saying that Trump was trying to make us not energy dependent, and that's probably a big thing about like magnetism, like us shifting towards this idea of not, you know, being so monetarily, you know, confined and having this electric bill constantly.
And also talking about the pharmaceutical industry and how there are going to be other modalities that will be better and safer for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was giving,
endless
common sense.
Yep.
And he's a common sense president.
Yeah.
And
down to earth, put God first. I mean, put God first. And again, there's so many people that deny the stuff that Trump did for the children. And they go out of their way to just rip us for pointing out the fact that from day one, Trump said that the number one importance in this presidency was to stop human trafficking, and in particular, child trafficking. Okay. And then during his presidency, we all got to hear about Tim Ballard and what Tim Ballard was doing. And then suddenly Jim Caviezel says that my whole life was prep me to play JC, Jim Caviezel, JC, to play JC in The Passion of the Christ, and then to play Tim Ballard in this underground railroad, because that's what he's saying, that Jim Caviezel saying there's nothing more important than these two things. And he said, I'm all in with all of this. And you have truther after truther after truther denying all of this, denying that there is widespread pedophilia, denying that Trump went out of his way to save lives. Again, what do you do? How do you respond to Trump's takedown of MS-13? And to these truthers, have they even done the research to really, really know who put MS-13 together, what they really, really represent? Because it's the same group that they put into Germany under the Weimar Republic after World War I to turn Germany from saintly and devout into a hellhole. And that's when Adolf Hitler came along and got rid of the MS-13. He got rid of the Antifa rioters right off the bat. And that's what Trump did as well. And Trump described them from day one as the most vile, disgusting people. And all of
they're the ones that had the
tattoos
all over
all
their
Satan.
face, their neck,
Everything Satan. Every single thing on them is Satan.
And those are the ones they used as assassins. But they weren't just assassins, they torture.
The biggest thing with MS-13 is that they were the number one pipeline for the trafficking of children.
They were brutal.
Yes. So they were the ones that were getting children cross state lines from one coast to another, getting them into the country through the Mexican border. That's why Trump was all in with this wall. Everybody laughing at the orange-haired clown.
Right, because we live in Mexico, and so you try telling the Mexicans that Trump is a good guy, and they're so programmed that all they can hear is the mainstream media saying he wanted to build a wall, he hates Mexicans, he wants to kill them.
No, he's protecting your children. He's trying to keep your children alive.
It's a very hard narrative to change, for sure. They just look at you and go,
So the orange-haired clown was savagely attacked from the beginning for building this wall, and he couldn't come out at the time bluntly and say what the wall was for. We just had to trust that it's a good idea and that we do need to secure it. We have to fix America first before we can then turn around and save the rest of the world. So it makes perfect sense. So So this is what we're dealing with, is just people that are out and out lying to themselves and lying to everyone in the truth community by denying that this Q army is real. And again, to anybody out there, and there has to be people in this chat here right now, if any of you think that the Clintons and the cabal are more clever than John Kennedy Jr., John, and that you think that they suckered him in to take his plane that was laced in this plastic explosive, and then they blew him out of the sky and they killed him, you're idiots. Again, I'm going to be blunt and just bluntly tell you this. You're idiots. If you took any time, see, and what I say at the beginning, did you take the time to actually read the Q post for yourself, and then to do the work that the Q post asks you to do, and do dark to light? So everything frontwards, backwards, you have to look on all of, and then where it leads you to, and you have to follow all of your leads and your clues all the way through. And there's never any wild goose chases. It always leads somewhere. Always, every single time it leads somewhere. But you never did. You never did. You never did the work on the Q post. And so just going through all of this stuff with child trafficking and again, Trump's regime, what happened to all the war in the world? Nobody talks about this. What's wrong with everyone? What is wrong with everyone out there? Like, you have to be paid shills. I mean, you have to be, because you just can't be this lazy and you can't be this effing stupid. What happened to all the war in the world when Trump was president? There was war forever. It hadn't stopped since Napoleon and the French Revolution. It never stopped. And that's because the Rothschilds and the Khazarian mafia, that muscle mafia end of the Phoenician control over this earth, made sure that there was perpetual war. But under Trump, there wasn't. But why don't you talk about this? How is that even possible? How is that even possible? How was Trump able to make peace agreements in and around the Holy Land with Israel unless he owned Israel? They don't make deals with these Arab nations. And, and they almost completed the complete crown. They almost completed the crown. And that's where we're going to get to. We're going to get to the point where everyone has made the deal, and then Palestine will then make the deal. And then you have this perfect peace agreement in that entire area. So how can you deny any of this stuff? The evidence.
Because the mainstream media is not sharing any of that.
Right. Thank you for saying that. But what that then tells us is that most people in the truth community are still getting their information out of the mainstream. And you're an absolute fool. You've got it wrong, because they've lied to us about everything. Not some things, everything. Not some things, everything. And remember, when Colleen and I started 5 years ago, from the biggest names, Passio, David Icke, and the Australian dude again, Max Egan and stuff. They were like, Charlie Freaking Colleen, yeah, they've got some good stuff, but they're just jokes in our book, because they're going on with these two clearly are psyops, which is flat earth and veganism. And it's like, wow, you fucking liars. You absolute dogs for the cabal to protect these two things. We're frugivores, and you're railing against a vegan diet. Who for? You're promoting meat, dairy, and eggs. Who for? Who for? Who benefits from that? You effing shills. You effing shills. And then again, do you know anything about God? Do you know anything about the Bible? No. But you're not blatantly a Satanist, right? Well, Passio was, and it says he's not now. But that's all they do. That's all they do. They deny. When you deny level earth, when you deny the firmament, when you deny that the earth has never, ever moved once, you're denying the Bible. You're denying the word of God in the Bible, because that's all it talks about. And it makes perfect sense.
So that's what we're here to do, is to turn everything from dark to light. That includes our programming. We have to change all of that
Yep.
dark programming that's inside of us. And that means each and every one of us who's been eating death, who's been taking death thoughts and death food into our bodies. We're Satanists. They turned us into orcs. We were in the raving process. Some of us got out sooner than others, but we're not going to stop until we have everybody that we can possibly have on the side of light. We have to. And we have to create others out there who have the same passion as we do to go out and to change dark to light. Firstly, in yourself, and then you can spread it. You have to light your lamp. And that's the process that we're all teaching.
The single biggest thing, there's so many aspects to this, but the single biggest thing about what people would call flat earth, we always say level, because level is the truth. And that is, everything is built upon level. Everything is about level, which is what this earth is. And the single biggest thing is that what it shows you is elegant design, and that God is the creator. Okay. So the greatest lie of them all has to be therefore the Big Bang, because then that's saying that there's no God, and that out of nothing came everything in perfect, elegant design. And when you listen to the architect of evolution, he himself said that the theory that I have posited about man's evolution from subspecies into what we are today, said loses its steam, and he said, and in fact credibility altogether, when one simply considers either the human eyeball or a single strand of DNA. A single strand of DNA is so complex and yet so perfect. And it's all 3, 6, and 9, by the way. A single strand of your DNA is entirely 3, 6, and 9. It's the entirety of the one story. It's entirely father, mother, child. It's entirely left brain, right brain. It's entirely electricity and magnetism. That's a single strand of your DNA tells the entire story. And by the way, that's a single hair follicle. So within a single hair follicle holds all the truth. The one story of everyone and everything is in a single hair follicle, but you don't care as long as you got lots of hair. And then don't have any hair anymore, and nobody's asking the question why. Well, it's that damn genetic business again. It's that damn grandfather on my mother's side. Damn it, these ancient people who came before us. Damn them all to hell. It couldn't be the beer you're drinking. Couldn't be the cheesies that you're eating. Couldn't be the cheese that you're scarfing down. Couldn't be the wine that you're drinking that's filled with children's blood. Couldn't be that shit. Couldn't be the shampoo and the conditioner that you're using on your hair, which, by the way, has no regulation. So it's like the Fed and your monetary system. There's no control over the what would you call that line? Beauty products, or makeup and hair.
Aesthetics?
None of that. What's that?
I just said aesthetics.
So aesthetics, whatever you want to call that entire industry, there's no control. They can put anything they want in your shampoo. And what do they love to tell you with your conditioner? Let it soak in you need conditioner, and let the conditioner soak in your hair for at least 5 minutes. And then my hair all fell out. But it couldn't be what they're putting in the conditioner. Of course not, because that would be a conspiracy, and that's crazy. That's crazy that a few people would want to rule the many. I mean, come on. Yes, that's entirely how the monetary system works, that a few own all the money, therefore all the land, make up all the laws, and they own all of the politicians and lawyers. But there's no conspiracy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Because Bill Maher says it would be crazy. Because Bill Maher's eating your children. And if there is a conspiracy, he's going to hang in a public square. And you just go along with all of the shit. They've lied to you about every effing thing, everything.
Charlie, could I touch on that? Because, I mean, on the genetic front, because that's what the doctors say when they can't solve your problems. They just say, oh, it's a genetic issue. It's, you know, you have diabetes in your line. But as Dr. Moore says, little do they know that it's just these things are being expressed because of an acidic condition. So all of your weaknesses are coming out because you're, like Charlie was saying, is putting acids in your body. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So here we find ourselves in this most crucial moment in our history. I don't think anyone can argue with that whatever's going on and how you can deny Trump and the Q army, how you can deny this at this point. Like I said, it makes you a clown. It makes you a complete clown. You make fun of Trump, but you're the orange-haired clowns. You are. You're absolute fools when you didn't even use your common sense observation with regard to the election to know that Trump won the election in a massive landslide. Anyone could see that. Anyone could see that. Okay? And I can assure you that Trump cleaned Hillary Clinton's clock as well. But you know, we may never know the great details. But again, people were fed up and they reached out, and this system of control is so pervasive, is everywhere, that they were almost able to you know, cheat its way back in the middle of the night, which was what they did with Biden. So it's all a lie, and it's just all complete Satanists. And when you deny the truth, when you live in a realm of lies, there's just no two ways about it. You are a Satanist because you're denying the truth. What is the truth? It's creation. Who created creation? God did. God did. Evolution? A single strand of DNA, or your eyeball, which your eyeball is flat Earth. It's all there. It's all there. There is the white Antarctic ice wall. Here are the blue oceans, and that's the landmass in the center, all upon level, all upon level. It's there. And of course, your eyesight shows you flat Earth if you didn't live in cities, because living in cities, you can't see more than a few meters in any one direction at any time. So you never get to use your natural long distance vision. And because you don't practice seeing long distance, everybody needs eyeglasses for being able to read up close. Because you see, it's an imbalance. That's all it is. They tell you that your eyesight is going to shit and your eyes are about to die and run out, you know, because your eyes have only got so much seeing in them. And that, you know, your eyes are essentially just dying. And so your eyesight's going. It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly natural. What the fuck is wrong with you? Your eyes work or they don't work. The only reason that your eyesight is getting all effed up is because they're doing everything perfectly in their little evil system, their little evil way, which is that force everyone to look at tiny little letters on tiny little handheld objects that are forcing you always to look down at the devil in hell instead of at God in heaven. Ever notice that? Ever notice that? Why your posture sucks and why you've got neck pains and back pains, because your head is always plowed into hell instead of being held high into heaven. That's why. And when you're constantly looking at little bits close up, you don't create balance, which is your long distance vision. If you want to fix your eyesight, you want to get rid of glasses so that you can see up close again, practice looking every day. You have to work at it because you work so hard at the imbalance at computers and your handheld devices. You work so hard to create the imbalance with looking close up at tiny little letters. You have to look at big backgrounds over grand distances. And when you do that, it balances your eyesight out again and you can see up close. It's a miracle. He healed me. It's a miracle. No, it's not a miracle. And I didn't heal you. It's just called balance. which is everything that happens on this flat, protected earth under the firmament. Everything is seeking balance. That's how your eyes work. It's common sense 101. Why am I the one that has to be telling you this stuff? Where are all these eye doctors that are teaching you this stuff? But they're not. Nobody is, because they're all bought and sold. And it's like with the preachers and priests and everything. When you've got a house and you've got a wife and kids and, you know, and you've got cars and you've got mortgage payments and car payments, you just tend to toe the line. You know it's bullshit, but I need to pay off that mortgage, so I'll just toe the line. And that's the sad reality of this very sick, diseased world, that the average person is sucking off the tit of the Babylon whore. And she only gives out rotten acidic milk. Go ahead, Eugene.
No, you're just funny. It was just funny because I was thinking when you said eye doctors, they have eyes to see, but they don't, or sorry, they have eyes, but they don't see. And, you know, earlier you were talking about the shills and these people that are, you know, fully on or not fully trusting. I think sometimes these lukewarm shills are more dangerous than the, you know, the downright Satanists, that the ones that profess to be about truth and then lead you astray. It's oftentimes worse because you think you have this, you know, hope, and you think, oh, aliens, they're going to come and save me, but it's a complete fucking lie. So it's like, it's worse sometimes. So I think it's even more necessary for these, I don't know how to say it, like these tests, these last minute jolts, just to see if you're serious or not. And just to shake off all the shills and just to shake off all the people who aren't, you know, completely on the path and who aren't serious, to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So true, Eugene. Absolutely true. And again, Aaron. I'm Justin. Fantastic.
It's funny because that's kind of what Justin would say. Like these people that aren't fully committed, there's no, you know, there's no, what do you call it, a middle ground, so to speak. And then right as I say that, Justin comes on.
Hi guys.
Have I been summoned? Hey guys.
Hello, Dallasonians.
Yeah, I figured it was okay, but is it okay if we get Mike, Penny, and ML in here too?
Absolutely.
Of course. A number of people in the chat told us that you guys were talking with Mike Penny tonight. So,
And they're like, "Are you competing?" We're like, "No."
Scheduled, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send them the link real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So please don't feel that you have to stay for any period of time. You know, your beautiful work is already being done. But just to bring everybody up to speed, what I've done, I put out a video today, just once again, making it so abundantly clear that you're watching.
They put it on there.
On their side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
I put it on his channel. And,
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet. But it sounds beautiful. I mean, I said to Trump, you know, last year, before I got kicked off of Twitter, so a year ago plus, I said, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? And I told him I was all in, whatever you wanted me to do. If you wanted me to teach gematria, I'd do it. And all in means all in. It means go ahead and roast me like Obama roasted him at the correspondence dinner in 2012. You know how it worked, right? You know that doesn't age well. And so he decides, well, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go, Prosper. You're going to go around and teach gematria to people. No, I'm going to make you look like an idiot first and blow you way up. And then you can teach millions of people all at once instead of, I was thinking way too small. I mean, obviously he knows how to go big. So he's probably the one that sent the tinfoil hat picture and the video, all that stuff to probably John played Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, this movie is just going to blow people's minds.
Absolutely will. Absolutely will.
Yeah, and so he knows how to do it. What's that, Charlie?
They just don't allow practicing witches and warlocks to be able to cast spells any longer and put any child at risk. So you just need to wrap your minds. It's a movie, children first, Trump said from the beginning, and you just need to apply common sense. So when you guys weren't here in the first sort of hour and a half of the show, what we've done is we've just proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Trump had the single best 4 years as the president ever, and that anyone not seeing this is a complete idiot. And that's on you. That's not me being cruel or mean. That's on you for being an idiot. And you're not an idiot, but you're acting like an idiot because you've missed promises made and promises kept. You've watched the middleman get destroyed and taken away. You've watched you've just watched God being ascended to his position on the throne and Satan being cast down to hell. You've watched children being protected. You watched child trafficking networks being destroyed. Antifa, MS-13. I mean, these are the number one Satanists on earth that are trafficking in their gold, which is the blood of our pure children. So that's what we did. And we just tore a hole in all of these people that are denying all of this stuff. And it's sickening. And
I mean, can we add some more? Can we add some more? Can we add Hollywood being drained? I mean, what the hell did people think they saw at the Golden Globes this year? Don't they remember the year before when Ricky Gervais said, "Oh, we're not going to do the death count this year. Let's do it next year. Let's see how it goes next year." You know, and then of course they didn't do a death count because it'd just be too damn long and nobody was there to hear it anyway.
There were 17 people that showed up in a log cabin. What happened?
Yeah, it was pretty weak. And everybody looked like my neighbor in some clothes that you would wear to the office, not, Hollywood attire, and nobody was famous. Even the ones that were there were fake. You know, the couple, Halle Berry, who's probably got some berries. She does has some berries.
That's so
Absolutely. Hey, listen, Michael, on the video, what I show is this, and it's just unbelievable. But here you have NBC News spending over half an hour on the Jesus strand alone. So that's you. They've got you there. They've got ML and Mike Penny talking about it. And this is all on live on NBC News. And they spent half an hour going over the Jesus strand. And they're talking, so Abraham Lincoln is the grandfather of all of these movers and shakers in the world. And so it's Joe Jr. and John Kennedy, and they're William Wallace Lincoln's children. And then the brother of William Wallace Lincoln, who is the son of Abraham Lincoln, which is Tab Lincoln, had two sons. Tad Lincoln, and he had two sons, and they were Benito Mussolini and General George Patton, and then their children are all first and second cousins, and so they're going.
Which would be General Flint.
You don't do this. You don't do this.
Yeah, prostitutes don't do that. They don't tell you the truth, and God knows none of us learned it in high school or grade school. We should have known that the grandson of Abraham Lincoln was John F. Kennedy and Joe Kennedy, who didn't die in World War II, and his son was General I'm off on pattern. General Flint, Michael Flint, who's first cousin with John, and John's first cousins with Trump. And one says he's going to drain the swamp. The other one says he's going to tear down the whole damn government. And they're connected to these movers and shakers, Abraham Lincoln and General George Patton. Not to mention, we said you're going to find out why Il Donaldo Trumpo doesn't call himself El Donaldo Trumpo. And now you know why it's Italian instead of Mexican, because Il Duce, his uncle, is Mussolini. And they lied to you about what he did, and the role he played in World War II, because everything's a lie. It looked like you were going to say something, Charlie.
No, it just is. It just is. And we went right to the election and the election fraud and how Biden barely went out and all the reporters are going, why aren't you trying to win this election? Why aren't you campaigning and trying to get into this election here? Why aren't you doing this? And every time he did show up, there were only 6 Satanists 6 feet apart from
Well,
one
12. One time there was 12.
and everywhere Trump went, and we're talking about what we're told are these, these Democrat hot seats like California. He had hundreds of thousands of cars lined up, honking. Everyone had a sign. Everyone took time, put passion in to showing how much they love this man. And you think he lost California? You think he lost Oregon? You think he lost Washington? As a Canadian kid, I spent summers in the United States playing football and baseball, being billeted out. These are all conservative, family first, beautiful, people, and they are not Democrats. They are conservative, family first Christians. That's what I saw, and that's what I know in all these 3 states. And that it's been a big fuckery. It's a big lie. That and the first Democrat that ended up winning in California, Bill Clinton, because they had the voting machines rigged by that time. And then these became suddenly Democratic strongholds, and nobody bats an eye at this shit. Nobody bats an eye at this stuff, that they were all bastions of the Republicans. But now, because you can't have 2 parties if things were fair, because most families are conservatives. It
would just go back and forth, because you can't have Democrats running, $8 trillion worth of wars, and you can't have Republicans giving away everything, in the kitchen sink after you break the country with all these wars. And you can't have the Green New Deal with a bunch of Republicans in charge. And, they tell you, how many stars does the elephant have? How many stars does the donkey have? The donkey has 4. The elephant has 3. The Democrats are always going to win in the end. But the stars on the elephant are turned. They're the ones that are satanic, not the ones on the donkey. The donkey wins 4-3. The 43rd prime number is 191. All roads lead to Q191, which is 17 Osiris' death god. So it's clear as a bell when once you start learning stuff, once you start knowing stuff. DC. D is 4, C is 3. 43rd. The 43rd prime number is 191. All roads lead to Q191. And it just is just an amazing coincidence that -48 plus -472 is 191. A -48 is 95, Clark Kent 95, and -472 is 96, which is law and order with an and sign, law and order. And Trump ran on law and order, which is 115, the anointed 115. Because he's the law and the order.
Oh, we just want to say hi to Tony. Tony, we love you. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Tony. Love you, Tony. Miss you.
Hey, guys.
Tony's new to me.
She's the very backbone of Freak Sense.
Yeah, she's just done so much, and she's a real expert with regard to real food and detoxing. Yeah, and letting that body.
Well, then you have Eugene, a bad place in Oregon. Don't need to talk about. Don't need to talk about Eugene. Yeah, the best thing about Eugene is you go down there and take a right and go to the ocean and go ride 4-wheelers and motorcycles on the beach. Yeah.
Yeah, but you talking about, just going back to your video you did on the media and how much attention they're drawing to us. It's funny because they're also changing their tune completely on Joe Biden, and they're starting to make fun of him. They're starting to draw attention to the inflation. They're starting to just basically draw attention to how horrible of a job he's doing. Even the late show comedy shows, like, they're all making fun of him. Like I saw Colbert was talking about his long fart the other day, and they're all just they're all just changing that tune, which just means that they're slowly warming the psyche of the public for this big release.
Well, Trump is.
Yeah, Trump is, because they're just taking orders. They're just doing their part in the movie. So it's all being orchestrated. It's all just setting us all up for what's to come. But it's beautiful signs to witness, beautiful signs to see, for sure.
It's so true, Justin, and that is exactly what's happening. And Colbert had Michael's picture up and was making comments just about the insanity of the Jesus strand and whatnot. So he had Michael's picture up on his show, and again, like I said, NBC was just went over every detail, it scratched it out to the greatest detail. And they would never do this. They would never. And of course, you would never do this with John Kennedy and John F. Kennedy Jr. because it gives people hope. You never want to give people an ounce of hope because it can get them out of the pit of hell. And John Kennedy, Camelot, this president of the world, and there was so much hope in the world because of JFK. You cannot give the hint out there that he could potentially be alive. And then John, sexiest man in America, John potentially being alive, gives so many people hope. They would never do this. They've been ordered to do this because they are being controlled. It's a movie. So once again, it's a movie. And so what we were just doing at the beginning of the show is just letting everybody have it. But again, factually, step by step, just showing you that you're an idiot when you attack Michael Brian Protzman, -48, because without any desire for fame, without any ounce of money, doing everything in the most selfless manner, like doing those chats on Telegram. It's just incredible. But nobody wants to do this research. Nobody wants to add the ones and the twos together because that's bit change. But the story is always in the details. It's always there. So you just dig a little bit deeper, and what you see is that Michael came forward, and what did he do? He said, "This is God. He's real. This is how he communicates to you. Learn the language. Watch how it connects everything that is good and righteous together. Look at how everyone that is in this Q army is righteously tied through the sigils, through the numbers that is God and God's creation." There's nothing more beautiful. So for all you, and then like we're saying, so then that's part of it. Part of it is that they don't understand it because they don't want to understand it. They're just lazy, or they're just completely dumbed down stupid at this point, who knows? But the other aspect is that if you talk anything about Q, they just want to rip your head off. And then, like I said, I did the takedown of the cabal, seen by more than 7 million people minimum, I would say at this point now, showing you that, having the mainstream media show you that everything that was said is true and in the order that it appeared. And then the new little video just simply showing you this obsession with what went down in Dallas that, didn't appear to be that big of a thing, but clearly it's a major thing because everybody within the entertainment world and the news world and the mainstream just went crazy for what went down. So if you don't think, and then we went right into the presidency of Donald Trump, promises made, promises kept. We have been lied to ever since JFK. Every single president has lied to us and given us shit. And Reagan tried, but they shot him in his first year.
No, they shot him on the 69th day.
69.
69 is We Are Q 69, People 69, Drugs 69, War on Drugs? No, it was a war on people. Yeah. The numbers tell you, they have to tell you, and it tells you right there. They shot him on March 30th, which is 330, which is KKK 33. But in Europe, they write 30 and then 3, and that's the caliber bullet they used in World War I, .303. I mean, they tell you. And he didn't run the country. Bush ran the country for 12 years. He can say whatever he wants to say. He didn't have any control. And nothing, the economy was good. People don't know anything about interest rates. They don't know anything about their house. They should know about when their house payment goes down. It's because their interest rates went down. Their payment the house value went up. You're not getting rich, dumbasses. The game has changed, but you're broke at the end of the month. It doesn't matter. You're broke at the end of the month, whether the house 20,000 at 20% interest, or it's 400,000 and it's 4% interest. You're broke at the end of the month. The problem is your debt to income ratio is way worse now than it was when it was 20 grand, because your wages compared to your debt was next to, was not a problem. Today, you actually think you're going to pay all that money back, and you don't know what Thomas Jefferson said? I mean, there's a reason why he's hanging on Trump's office. Maybe you ought to study what Thomas Jefferson said. I've said it many, many times on the chat, but people don't want to listen, or, they just want me to drop bombs. That is a damn bomb.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Go ahead.
You put unregulated bankers in control, and that is far worse than a standing army on the shores of this nation, because when our children blink and wake up as young adults, they're going to find that their entire country has been taken away from them, and that's precisely what happened. Woodrow Wilson.
He said, I feel that banking institutions are more dangerous than standing armies. And if the American people ever allow a private bank to issue and control their currency, first by inflation, 1980, sound familiar, 198? We Are the News Now, 198, social media influencer, 198, the Tree of Knowledge, 198, President Trump, 198, President J. Kennedy, 198, greatest comeback ever, 198, the anointed winner, 198, positive, negative, 198, WWG1, WGA, worldwide, 198. People. Michael Thomas Flynn, 198. The anointed winner, 198. The resurrection, 198. President J. Kennedy, 198. You'll find out, 174. He said first by inflation, then by deflation. If the American people ever let the, excuse me, I got to start over because it's hard to start in the middle. If the American people ever allow a private bank, which is the creature from Jekyll Island, which the Federal Reserve, they already had the first bank, the second bank of the United States, and that's a whole nother story, pushed onto us by Hamilton, who's on the $10 bill, which is right here, WP, your arm in the circles of P, white power, Washington Post. That's 39, W and P. And 10 square miles, Netflix, 39. He's shot with 39 days left to go by Lee Harvey Oswald, born in 39. James Wilkes Booth, born in 1839. There's a pattern here, people. Angel 39, ass 39, dumbass. So the first by inflation, then by deflation. The back right where I started. head, dumbass. So got to start at the top of the paper, read the whole thing. If the American people ever allow a private bank to issue and control their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that grow up around the private bank, the Federal Reserve, will deprive the people of all property till their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered, and the issuing rights should be taken from the bank and restored to the people who rightfully belongs. That's exactly what Donald Trump's doing. And it was Hamilton on the $10 bill. And there's a reason why Hamilton's the biggest play in the world right now for 8 years. Pull your head out and go listen to the words. Go listen to what he's telling you. The women go, oh God, he's so fabulous. Oh my God, Hamilton, he's a dream, because they want to start the new Hamilton banking system, the new one for the great currency reset, not the global currency reset for everyone. And you don't want to talk about social engineering. Hamilton's nothing compared to that damn play we went to here in Washington, D.C. That thing was sickening. It was sickening. All Black audience, just total social engineering. People are going to wake up to what they were doing as soon as they pull their head out.
Well, it was just we went to this one play, and I forget what.
The movie that was based off of was where Queen Latifah and Jada Pinkett Smith, they're in LA, and they have a convertible, and they're cleaning ladies, and they had to rob a bank to get money for for her kids, because her kid got taken or whatever. But in the play, it's so much worse. All the coding, the numbers, the laughing at people dying, the getting away with stuff, everything about it was just horrendously atrocious. And the black guys just loving it and just laughing at it and not even knowing they were being played. It was sickening.
It's at the T-Ball Theater, BAAL Theater. So
T is 107, 20 is, which is 107, which is Osiris 17, because there means nothing. So it's Osiris Ball Theater.
Yep. I mean, the whole purpose of it was to divide the black community from the police, to demonize them, to glorify immorality. So to glorify stealing, glorify killing. Every time somebody died, the whole crowd laughed.
Because the cops were running around like, Keystone cops, and they were faking their deaths, real dramatic, and that was funny, and they were laughing at death.
Just to bring the degradation of the black community even further, just to sink them further into the pits.
The movie was bad enough, but the play, it's kind of an interactive, deal, and nobody would watch it if it was a movie, but you're already there at the play, and tell your friends, send it out right now, and to everybody, all that stuff. And it was $4 for this and $3 for this on the sign. Of course, 43rd primary was 191. All roads lead to Q191 with Osiris. I mean, it was just sickening. Everything about that place was sickening. And the people there were just comatose vertical meat suits up one side and down the other. They were just brain dead.
And what was
So if you went to the play, the matinee at 3:00, the first day, you're a fucking dumbass.
What was the name of the play? Do you guys remember?
I have it.
yeah.
Yeah, that,
Jada Pinkett. That's really interesting, because you'd think with Will Smith is her husband, right? That would she be available to do a play like that?
No. The play was based off a movie that she was in.
There were different actors. Okay.
Yeah, and her mother's a dude. That's the one with the flat stomach that's always on the beach, with the flat stomach. Yeah, that's a dude. It's just atrocious. So let me see here. Okay.
Yeah. And while he's looking that up, I've had some comments about my voice and coughing. I do have a little bit of a sickness. This is what happens when you have a clean eating, and then you start eating you start getting lax on it, with the chips and salsa.
Which we're having tomorrow night with guacamole.
It starts to wear on you. And so my body is detoxing right now. So just
He's not sleeping with a damn, that's his problem.
Well, yeah, sleep deprivation doesn't help with that either. It's a fierce combination. But yeah, thank you for all the love, everyone in the chat. I appreciate it.
How's Callie doing?
She's amazing. She's incredible. Yeah. She's loving life. She's probably not loving life right this moment because she's stuck in the hotel room, but she's doing great.
What a beautiful girl she is.
She is.
I'm kind of digging the voice, Justin. You sound like a singer.
Should I
week.
start smoking cigarettes so I can just maintain this voice? Just for you, Eugene, I'll do it.
No, don't.
Yeah, no, I won't do it. I take that back.
Yeah. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. But then Trump's, tweeting, I had to do it. Because we're saying, I had to do it. So he's, tweeting a couple different times that because he's listening to us.
Have we decided if Trump is a general in the military?
Has to be.
Oh, well,
I think there's no doubt. I mean, he wouldn't be able to do all that he's done without, which would makes the fact that there's so few, non-military on the Q team means that he's military, gives one more room on the non-military side. So
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just a part of this movie, how he's always been framed as like a draft dodger, and how he didn't really, he was always trying to be away from the military, trying to get away from it, and when in actuality it was probably the complete opposite.
Absolutely.
He's been trained at the highest levels, and Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what his track record is and all that too. Wow, this movie is fascinating.
It
Sometimes
is.
sometimes I just sit with it and it just starts to wash over me and oh yeah, overwhelms me just about every time I start to let it all sink in, just because this is it.
Just when you think it's gonna set in, then I blow your mind up some more.
Yeah, and then this guy comes along and
Tonight I blew him way up. I mean, I put it out of the park, and I mean, it's in your face.
it is.
I mean,
it is.
is there any doubt?
No, there never was.
I gave
but
it, but
if
I
you-
gave it to you tonight,
if
didn't
you-
I?
If you had any
Did I
doubts,
not give it to you tonight? I mean, the whole thing.
Fierce.
It's
Fierce.
yeah.
There's no way that you could even question it. I mean, there's no way that yeah.
No, and the fact
And
that
that-
people are questioning it is once again is just disgraceful because it's a
It's
double
satanic.
foul. It's laziness on one part, but it's out now a felony. It's just utter attack. And again, this is what the sort of the essence of the show is, which is that all the Satanists are getting squirmy right now because what was said in the book of Revelation is coming true. And like we talked about long ago, that the book of Revelation was written for right now. It was written for this precise moment. And what it is saying is that you have a choice to make, and that the choice and it's free will. So nothing is holding you back from God except you. You can't blame anybody else right now. And there's enough exposure to people like ourselves right now to give you hope and to give you enough light that you're going to want to come to it. But you have a choice to make, and there's nothing that is going to prevent this, because this is the way. The way to cleanse the land is for everyone to declare themselves. So this is not an angry God hating you. This is God saying, I love you, and this is entirely on you. This is entirely up to you, and it's your choice. But the thing is, you're either all in with God, and if you're not, you're all in with Satan. You can't have it the middle way. You can't try to straddle both sides of the fence any longer. You must declare yourself. It won't work anymore, because that fence is going to come tumbling down, and you will fall on the left or you will fall on the right, and it's entirely up to you. And then what comes after is entirely upon yourself. So you are making a bed. This is your sacred place to lay your head down. And if you're not with God, then the rewards are right. They're righteous and right, and they're just, because everything that you're doing is going to lead to the rewards that you're going to get. And so all of the Satanists are going squirmy because they're being driven out of their minds right now. And this is Jesus entering into the temple of the money changers and scattering the temple, because that's scattering the carnal thoughts out of your mind.
Yeah, and that's what people forget when they start expressing these doubts. And where does doubt come from? It comes from fear. Who spreads fear? Who's the master of fear? Who plays with that black magic? That's Satan. So if you're expressing doubts, if you're expressing fear, you're playing on that side of the fence, plain and simple. And it's not our job to sugarcoat that. You need to know what you're doing, because that's me saying I love you enough to tell you exactly what you're doing, so you hopefully get your head out of your ass and start making the right choice.
When has Aaron ever pushed negativity upon you or fear upon you? When has Justin ever pushed negativity or fear upon you? When has Michael Brian Protzman, who gets after you, but that's just holding you accountable.
That's a
That's
kindness.
That
truth.
is a kindness.
That's truth and love.
That is. So that's not fear. That may instill fear in you because you're fearing the consequences of hearing the truth about yourself, but that's not spreading fear. That's a kindness, which is love. And where do you ever get fear from, Eugene? You never do. Nobody here is pushing any amount of fear. And even with the book of Revelation, I'm telling you that it's not over. It isn't over. You're eternal. You're going to get more chances, but you need 1,000 years to cool your heel. And you have no idea what 1,000 years is to God. You don't know what 1,000 years is to God. We don't know what a day is to God. In the Bible, it references that a single day is 1,000 years. So if a day is 1,000 years and you have to spend 1,000 years in hell for the decisions that you're making, that's a lot of zeros.
Because time doesn't really exist.
It doesn't. But the choice is yours. So once again, everyone who is coming out now against Michael Bryan Prossman, -48, you're a dumbass. You are a dumbass. And the video that I just put up again today is designed once again to show you that all of this is real, that it's a movie. You cannot deny it. It's an 18-minute video, but it shows you once again that the mainstream media is obsessing with, and again, Mike Penny and ML, their pictures were plastered all over NBC News, because they kept going on and on about the concert, about Dallas and about the Jesus Strand, and then ML. Here's ML speaking to, 1 million Americans in the mainstream, talking about Abraham Lincoln, grandfather to John F. Kennedy.
So soft disclosure.
Yeah.
Soft disclosure.
So when you deny this, you're lazy is one thing, that's a fault. But then after that, you're just evil running amok, and that's a double fault. And that's what the book of Revelation is here for, is to show you, and that there is a righteous reward for you that are choosing Satan. And if you choosing Satan, you can spend 1,000 years in the lake of fire. That's on you. That's on you, not anybody else. That's on you. So with that, with that fire and brimstone speech, let's welcome Mike into the show. And as I think everyone knows now, Mike was doing a show with the boys earlier in the evening. So welcome, Mike. Thanks for hopping in.
Hey,
Thank
brother.
you, Charlie. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the warm welcome, and it's good to see each and every one of you. We got, like you said, negative. We got Michael and Justin and on with us from their ride back from dinner, and really enjoyed sharing some quiet truth, because the chat was unusually normal tonight versus what it's been lately, which is good, because it's like you said, they didn't know what they were doing when they put us all up there. And it's a thing of beauty as it continues to happen.
If you only knew.
Yeah.
Hey, trust me, if you only knew what I told them tonight.
Right.
Try and quantify it.
Well, the only really way to quantify is this the biggest story ever told or never told that we're living through in life in
But
lifetime.
But it will be told.
It
right?
is
Oh.
being told right now, and everybody's being checked with what they're doing and what they believe. Like I said, you can only serve one master. So if you think you have any doubt or any fear, it's going to be exposed. And if you haven't done the work and you're here just by wanting to see a dead man rising, and you haven't risen the second coming in your own self, you're never going to get there. So we're seeing people being exposed on the out there, but it's also exposing every little bit on the inside that we haven't got to. So this is the best story that we're playing out and here for everybody to see. So
Yeah, and that biggest story ever told just got a lot more personal as well, based on what he shared this evening.
Well, I'm not privy to what he shared, and I'm glad y'all got to hear it. But I'll tell you this story will be told for generations.
Oh, it's
No
forever.
doubt.
Forever.
Mike, I want you to speak to this as well as Michael speak to this, but we have to institutionalize these things again. There's no day of the week for Jesus. There's no month for Jesus. There's nothing, there's no day for God. How do we not have a day? That's why the 13-month calendar of the moon cycle makes perfect sense, because that's 364 days. And the 365th day has to be for God each and every year. And then we'll never forget. Why do we not count time on this day? Why is this day for God? Well, this is why, because this is who we are. This is what we do. This is everything that we do. We never forget. They've taken it all away from us. They deinstitutionalize the truth from us by putting lies in its place. So I want both Mike and Michael to speak to this. We have to institutionalize this truth into the everyday machinations of this creation, or we're going to forget all of this again. We can't let this happen again. Mike, you want to go first?
Absolutely. We talked about it a little bit on the show when we were on a while ago, and we talk about it on a lot of shows. The day that we started allowing them to remove God from our society, from our homes, from our churches, from everyday life, from schools, prayer, all of it. The day we allowed that, there was those of us that wondered how this was going to turn out, and now we see exactly how it's going to turn out. And that's going to be the cry that we're going to have in the streets. That's why God's calling the church back to the streets, to bring God back into those parts of our society that we have allowed them to remove us from. And that's never more been the truth than anything that's going on right now. And if you can't choose God, then we're here to help you if you want to try to choose God. But if you can't choose God, then it's not going to be for you, and you may not be around anymore because you're choosing the wrong side of the fence, and God is going to rid the earth of evil.
And I feel like the flip side to that is Nikola Tesla saying the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, aka God, aka the ether, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. And I think it's interesting that 48, all in comes to 48. So I think 48 is the ultimate test, if whether you're all in or not. So the people that are, rattling against him are, we're just separating the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. And then I started to repeat what I was saying earlier, that I think some of these lukewarm shills are more dangerous than the downright Satanists, because they're more misleading. Like when you see a Satanist, that's not the path. But then there are these other guys that are professing that they're of the path, but they're really not. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a cover for what they want to continue, which we're not going to allow. We're not going to allow it. God has ordered our steps, and we are taking them, and we're going to be obedient to that. And it's really that simple. Just still yourself enough to hear him call you. If you're seeing the number, like Charlie said the other night when we were all on together, 1111, if you're seeing that number a lot, you're being called.
You absolutely are. There's no two ways around it. You absolutely are. And you just have to have the courage to answer the call. And then the first thing that you say to God is hey, what about that white Porsche? Remember, that was 20 years ago. I was asking, but where it's God, I don't want to hear a word about what you're going to do for me. I just want you to tell me what I can do for you. I'm all in, Father, and I know you need boots on the ground. I need to be part of this. And where do you think this John Galting process came from? These are all devout children of God that are just saying, I'm all in for the Father. He needs boots on the ground. I want to be boots on the ground. I love making music. I love doing this. I love doing that. I love driving race cars. But you know what? I care more about children than I do making these albums. I care more about children than I do driving race cars. I want to help. Let me help. Let me help are more powerful words than I love you, because out of let me help comes love.
The words that were spoken, with the whole Jesus strand, they all started with what we called the $5 Benghazi story. that's what we called it at first when Sabrina Gal, who's over at the Sacred Blue Tent, who had the story and I had the numbers and the players. We just put it together. We just kept saying it over and over again. I just said, hey, let's tell the $5 Benghazi story. And nobody knew what the hell we were talking about, you know? And we would tell it over and over. I mean, day after day after day after day. And it became, you know, the Jesus Strand. And early on, we told, you know, Jesus Strand 1, 2, and 3, you know, on our chat. And we can't tell 3 on this big a scale. It's just not our place to expose it. But Trump knows I know it. And then we figured out the whole, well, Sabrina Gal did. She's such a, you know, you just put that little sniffer on the ground and man, that thing finds anything, you know. She's just a bloodhound when it comes to finding stuff. She's just phenomenal at research. And because I've sent her on some, I sent her on some wild chases and she came back in a couple hours, a couple times like, yep, you were right. And it's like, I knew it, but I didn't want to look. I didn't want to do the work. I was sick and tired of doing it. I did so much. I just was sick and tired of it. And I just wanted to, you know, spend my time, you know, sharing the knowledge and teaching the stuff I knew. And I didn't get too many people saying, well, what's your sauce? I did early on. I'd say, you know what? I lost 3 phones. I lost everything. Don't even ask me. I don't have time for the sauce. You go look it up. First of all, don't believe a word I say. Don't believe anything I say. Go prove it to yourself. Once you do that, you know it. You've only heard it when you hear it. I mean, I tell people 8 times, then finally they see me write it out and go, oh, I get it now. You know, because they've never done the work, you know, and there's a lot of work and I get it. Everybody's, you know, I don't like to do what some people do. Some people don't like to do what I do. That's fine. I just know that we were telling that story months and months and months and months and months and months ago. And now Trump's forcing them to tell the real story. And we got a poster sent to us and it said Jesus Strands with an S. It was professionally done. So we thought, you know, Trump sent it and said, okay, crew, we get to go do the Jesus Strand 2 now. Let's go do it. Let's get it out there before, you know, Halloween's over with. And we showed it on Halloween on 1031, 131, John F. Kennedy 131, Alpha and the Omega 131. And the world got to see it. And if you haven't seen, you know, the Jesus Strand, the remake, the real one, not the one that we were promised to get by a fame treat, you know, fame treat, you're fired 228, the best yet to come 228. But by 4VKM, he did a phenomenal job. And just like I said decades ago at work, you know, at work, you do not want to go in front of me and you do not want to go behind me because I'm going to make you look stupid because I'm a rock star at what I do. And nobody wants to do that. And well, somebody went in front of 4VKM and Andrew made him look stupid. And so if you see one out there that's not done right, doesn't have all the gematria listed and labeled, well, that's not the real one. You got to find the real one that it's the one they're posting over at the Sacred Blue Tent. That's where you're going to get the real Jesus Strand 1. It's done right. And we all did the right information. I mean, she said the words, I did the gematria and the players, and then we picked up Toronto on our site. And then she showed the history of what was going on in that region to the Armenian people and who they were and how they fit into the story. Absolute beautiful work, just shored up what we were talking about. And then we saw Bryce on a show and said, oh, we got to have Bryce because she's the Bible expert that we needed to condition the people that they've been lied to. about a book, the most famous book in the world. And people are just now finding out that they've been lied to about the book, what should be in it, what all the writings and teachings were, and where they're all at, where they came from, and the whole history, so that people could be conditioned to believe what Sabrina Gal said. And then I just shore it up with, God's language. And if people can't figure out that it's intelligent design, well, maybe they ought to go in line for seconds to get some more intelligence so they can see the design. And that's just me calling you a dumbass. And I'm a dumbass. The more we learn, the more we realize we don't know anything. And so I tell everybody here, I'm the head dumbass. You got a button here that says dumbass. Start at the top of the page, start from the top, work down. Head dumbass. That's me. Okay. Trump is the thumping ass. John's badass. Nancy Pelosi's drunk ass. So everybody's got a name. And we went through like 200 asses, and we listed all the players and gave them all names. It's all recorded at -48. I don't even know what it's listed at. It's under media. And if you want to just laugh your ass off for a couple hours, you just listen to that and listen to all the ass names we gave everybody. This bobblehead ass right here. And he just shakes his head. Just can't, just like, how do I believe this? I mean, how is this not true? I mean, how is this, how does he do it? Where's this stuff come from? It's like, this is crazy stuff, which is true stuff.
Yeah. I'm just blown away by God's existence. God's existence in this man's life just blows me away every single time, because it's just God powerfully showing himself in a very provable way. Most of the time God shows himself in this, in the right brain, and it's sort of more mystical. But this is like in your face, right there. You cannot deny it. There's no getting around it. And yet people still want to doubt it. That's what blows my mind as well. People still want to say that this is made up or fake. And like
and Q did, and what I did is just put truth in your face.
Exactly. It's all written. This is all God's plan. We're just playing our roles in it.
All I did was just look at what Q was giving us, took everything, and I never read a book. A friend of mine, Jacob, I told him about it, and he went, we worked on it for 4. Well, I told him about it, then he went away. And 30 days later, he came back and just blew my mind. Because he was doing it on a whole different level than I was at that time. And it was clearly intelligent design, and just blew me away. And I just knew I had to be, it took me 11 years to wake up Jacob. Okay. 11 years. And I knew I couldn't have the grasshopper smarter than the master, or so, it's a joke. It's more for fun. And I told him before he ever left with that knowledge, I said, someday you're going to be a rock star, Jacob. You watch. Rock star people 174. I didn't even know it at the time. I just didn't even know it. The algorithms of consciousness 351. Jesus Christ Extraordinary 351. A through Z is 351. God communicates through numbers 351. And once I realized it was the real deal, I was all in. I wasn't -48 yet. I was I was hot shoe 640. And then that had to go by the wayside. And they're clowning about something out there, aren't they? Our audience to be is out in the living room and the entertainment room all together, about probably 60, 70 people. And we don't know, they were still coming in the door when we got on the show, but could be 100 for all we know. It was so mind-blowing that I had to do it. And he had read a book, a $5 book. I never asked him for it. I never had him explain to me anything. He would just do his gematria, and I would just realize that, oh, you can do that and you can do this. And then I just did it every possible way you could do it. I did it plus, times, add this, add that, slide this over, slide that over. I did every possible way I could do it. And I realized every way I could do it works. every possible way you can possibly do it works. And it's just beyond. I mean, when you do a partial statement, then a little bit more of it, and a little more, it's all the same statement, but it just continues. And you realize that every bit of it, no matter how you do it, no matter how you do this one, no matter how you do this part or this part or this part, it all says the same thing. You're like, holy crap, this is total full-blown intelligent design, especially with the message you're trying to prove. That's when you know the message you're trying to prove is absolutely correct. And Trump knows the statements I've made. We don't talk on the phone. We talk in code. That's the only way I talk to him, is in code. He puts out stuff. I put out stuff. I really don't follow him a lot. Everybody else does. Oh, look what he put out. And then I'm not obsessed with it. I don't like, I just do it. I just go with the flow.
Because you know you're going to see exactly what you need to see.
I'm going to see whatever I need to see. Once I realized who I was and what I knew and what I needed, Trump's going to make sure I get what I need to figure it out, because I'm the one that's going to figure it out. Everybody knows it, because nobody on social media knows anybody else that's figured it out. The only other guy was Tom, and I'm the one that told him. And I always give credit where Tom is due, or everything he's ever taught me, or I got from him, whatever number it was, or whatever it was. And it's my story. It's Sabrina Gal's story. We're the ones telling it. She's the one that realized that El Donaldo Trump was what it should have been, but it was Il Donaldo Trumpo, which is Italian, and she went out and figured out why it was Il Donaldo Trumpo, that Mussolini was the brother of General George Patton, which was Trump's uncle, was Mussolini. And then we, did some research and found out that, everything we'd ever heard was a lie. And then we found out the truth, that he had spent his own money to build the walls and contain the Vatican inside the walls of that pit of hell church, so they wouldn't be spread out all over everywhere. So everything that people have ever been taught about Mussolini is a lie. All those history books, they are firewood or put on your tires so your car doesn't roll down the damn hill. That's what they're good for.
Let us not forget that every step of the way that Mussolini did with regard to the Catholic Church, Adolf Hitler was with him every single step of the way, and that a lot of German money went into ensuring that the net was well woven to keep those demons in that tiny little footprint of land in Vatican City. So what wasn't talked about in Jesus Strand 2 is the logical connection. And the logical connection, once you bring up Benito Mussolini, is then you have to look at, well, then who were the Axis powers in World War II? And therefore, who are these Axis powers? What did they all stand for? You can do your own research and find that out. By how they align themselves, through their flags and the symbols of their peoples and their nations. They made it damn clear who they stood for. And then you have to take a hard look at then who are the allies and the allied countries and what we stand for. And what we stand for is democracy. And democracy is Satanism. And
then why were all the kings and queens of Europe, the men of Orange, or the royalty of Orange, why were they so scared of Russia? That was a big part of the whole thing. They were worried about Russia coming down and exposing them and basically taking all their thunder, taking all their power and exposing them. I don't know the whole story. It's damn complicated. We didn't want to, we had enough controversy going as far as we did. The Great Awakening will do all that part. They'll do part 3. We know a lot of part 3, which is literally going to blow people's minds. Everybody here knows a big part of Jesus Strand 3, but they're not broadcasting it. They're not talking about it. It's just something you don't talk about. That's Trump's job to tell that part of the story. He knows we know it. Sabrina Gallo knows she knows it. There's plenty of people that know it, but it's just not something we can broadcast. There's not going to be a Jesus Strand 3 until the Great Awakening happens. And then why would you want to listen to us tell it when it's going to be told? So,
But it's going to be told by us. I mean, I think.
Yeah, we can tell it too, but and we're going to probably do a show on it and do the gematria like we did 1, 2, and 2. But we can't do it until the Great Awakening takes place.
Yeah, but I think that's a big part of what people forget. But it's, do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah. Hey, my back's a little sore. I'm going to get up and check out. Sorry I didn't get to talk too much, Eugene. Colleen, thank you so much. Is it cold in Mexico?
He has a fan on. He has a sweatshirt
Well,
on.
turn the damn fan off. Tell him to take his sweater off. You won't have to have the fan. I mean,
Right?
1 + 1 is 2, Charlie. And of course, 112 is the last dance.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michael. Yeah. And so just taking the lead, what Michael said earlier, and this just crosses over to Mike Penny so wonderfully well. And of course, Justin and Aaron and Eugene as well. But this is the danger of ever thinking yourself as uber intelligent. The more you learn, how you powerfully realize how little you actually know. So this process of awakening is the most humbling experience you could possibly imagine, because it puts you right back at your foundations. It puts you at your root, and it says,
Which is such a beautiful place to be.
It
because
is.
it's like you're a clean slate.
That's
And
right.
you now get to just put the truth on.
That's
and,
right.
Oh my, your world just goes insanely beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so well said, Call. And for Colleen and I, at least what we can say is that whatever house we've built for ourselves within the temple here now, at least it's honest, and at least it's integral, and at least it's based on the truth.
And your
And
soul knows it, because it just aligns. All of that truth just aligns, and you just go, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it was all bullshit before. You know.
Well, the truth is always familiar. It always has that sense of home, because that is home. Because we know this. We know all of this. We just forgot. We're playing this forgetful separation game. A game where we get to remember we're playing it and learn how to beat it and reunite. That's the name of the game.
And we let them help us forget it too.
Yeah.
We did, it's a beautiful thing what Colleen and Charlie are saying, and you're backing it up there, Aaron. And I'm telling you, there is such peace in the truth that you cannot fathom. I can't even put it into words. I really can't. You just can't fathom how great your inner standing and your inner being aligns with everything, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
And there's Mike, and there's no ego. There's no ego, because in the learning of the truth, you realize how little you know. And in fact, what you realize is how impossible it is for you to try to be the great one and figure it all out on your own. That's why everyone, Tesla included, they just go, I'm done with that bullshit. I'm going to take this alchemical process, and I'm going to go straight to source.
Because when you're living the lie, you know that you've been listening to, and I don't like to say this, but the snake, right? You know that. And so it's like the snake is inside of me. It's the ego that I have. And
Right.
I don't want to listen to that bullshit anymore, because it never takes you to where you really want to go.
No.
Back home with God, like back home with your home. You really get to go home, and you know that your ego will never take you there.
But I will say,
balance, it's out of fear, and it's only going to make you suffer. So you know that it isn't you, it's you aligning with God that gives you all of that beautiful gnosis that just pours into you when your vessel is ready and clean, when and you can become exactly what you were meant to be. And then it's tears of joy. It's just tears of joy, not sadness. And I'm so alone. It's like, no, oh my God. And the love that you feel, the love that just fills you up every day, just by being with you beautiful people. It just makes me want to cry. It's
Yeah.
just so beautiful.
It's sweetie, to follow that up. It's just like surrounding yourself with God and people who are all in with God. So it's just, for example, like we're going to do the show really soon with everyone to talk about what is safe to watch, what is safe to listen to. There's so many good people out there. There really are. So when you watch Michael Landon and you're watching Highway to Heaven, these tears that you're crying are gold. They're golden tears. They are healing you, and it's a healing. They are a healing vibration and frequency that are healing everyone around you as well. You need to surround yourself with this light of God, which is the truth. God, Jesus Christ is the way. He is the Son of Man because he did what God asked, which is to seek the truth above all else. And that's all that Jesus did. He stood firm for the truth. And he stood so firm in the truth, he allowed himself to have, and he didn't need to. The power that was in Jesus Christ could have turned their temples upside down in a second. So you need to wrap your minds around this. Jesus isn't some weak guy that they caught and that they reeled him in, and then, they tied him up, and then they just, tore him to bits and pieces. He allowed it to happen because he could have turned their temples upside down with a single thought. But he didn't, because he knew to go the next step. John F. Kennedy Jr., July 16th, 1999, he knew that to go to the next step, he must die of this physical frame. JFK, November 22nd, 1963, to take this to the next step, this is what had to happen. And it did. And it's the same thing with
Gandalf.
Gandalf, that's right. And it's the same thing with Adolf Hitler invading Russia on June 22nd of 1941, Operation Barbarossa. On the longest day of the year, the most godly day of the year, and he damn near did it. One tiny nation, and they damn near took down the entire evil in this world. And you got to get your head on the right-hand side of this truth. No matter what it means to your pride, get rid of that bullshit pride and just get all in with God. Because again, the first thing you learn is that you know virtually nothing. And that's cool, because it means that you'll never spend a day not being blown away by all that there is to learn and all that there is to know. It is the most humbling process.
And
there is no ego.
It won't be long before you're filled up again.
That's right.
Because your heart is open, you're exactly where you need to be, you're aligned, and it just flows in.
Yeah. And so this is where the allegory in the Bible about oil in your lamp, God is light. So that when you fill yourself up with the truth of God, you're filling yourself up with this eternal oil, this anointed oil. That's Jesus Christ. That's what Christ is the anointed one, is the oil of the anointed one. So when you tell the truth, when you align your frequency to truth, you're filling your cup up with Jesus Christ within you. And then you become the light of the world. And that's why you're here.
Also, I think filling is synonymous with emptying. That's why when you hold on to nothing, you have everything. And that's, it sounds weird, but when you hold on to something, usually it's a fragment. So you're holding on to something that's like fear or false or illusory. So when you let go and hold on to nothing, you have everything. So when you don't know, you know.
That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
No,
Yeah, they rue the day they taught me in high school. I forget who said it, but the quote, "I know only that I know nothing."
Well, and again, I think most people now know it, but that's what Colleen and I got to. with all the time and effort spent to get those stupid letters behind our names. And we got to a point where we said, at least we had the courage to say, we know nothing. We know nothing of the truth. And the thing that we wanted to know more than anything else was, what really is God? That's all that mattered. And then look, so this is the thing about Colleen and I, is that we're living, breathing proof of this process. When you let it all go and you just say, I just want to know the truth about God, you get everything, because he is everything, because he created everything. He's the creator. Why would you go to anyone else? Why do you want to go to all these middlemen? Donald Trump is powerfully telling you, I took out the middlemen so that there's no middle brokers anymore. You go direct. From now on, it's all about direct energy. It's all about
Which is
direct
exactly where we
connections.
need to be, right? We all know it. We all feel it. Get rid of that middleman and you go direct.
Well, he said it in his inauguration speech. He's giving power back to the people. And this is not a political statement. Most people are still thinking it's a political statement, and they're missing the big picture. Going within and finding the Christ within, finding the truth, the light, and the way is the only path to go. So if anybody's out stuck, waiting for something to happen and they haven't even questioned that, they're missing the boat, so everything's got to be coming from within first, so we could have that clear vision, could see God. And that's why we amplify. That's why we are so magnetic, because God is so much more powerful than Satan. And that's electricity versus magnetism. Charlie speaks about it all the time. It's the scalar wave that continually produces power, and it has this amplification 1,000-fold. So we have to become stillness and get out of our own way, get out of our egotistical thoughts, because that is just a slippery slope, and you're feeding that frequency, that Satan frequency that's expressed without. I mean, the only reason why we have this depravity outside is because we haven't worked through the shadows in our own mind throughout the years. And this is an expression of that. So it's only going within, finding the truth, the light, and the way within, and embodying it and integrating it. Every time we're on these live shows and we find something new, we got to find a way to integrate it. Because if not, we're still being complacent. And the complacency is the thing that's got us this far, because we've turned our back on the littlest things that the kind man wouldn't turn their back on. So even though that you weren't serving Satan and you weren't doing those acts, but you saw him and did nothing. You did nothing. I did nothing.
Which means we're serving Satan.
We're serving Satan. It's a slippery slope. It's either one or the other. There's no complacency. There's no laziness. There's no procrastination. There's no putting it on the back burner. There's no waiting for Trump. No waiting for anybody to do it for us. That's why we're on the front line, throwing down the pavement. There is nothing in front of us other than being in the moment of now with God. And God will teach us and show us exactly where we need to go. We just have to get out of our own way, put our ego aside, slay our own dragon, and then make it serve us.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of this movie. That's what it's supposed to bring us back to, is this process that we forgot about. This is the whole reason we came here. This is the whole reason we're in this realm, is to do this process, and we forgot this completely. So this movie is bringing us back to that starting point, back to that realization, so we remember who we are and remember what we're here to do. But then the work really begins. So I hope everyone listening really takes that in. This is just the beginning. We're watching the preview right now. We're just getting warmed up. Once Trump and the Q team and the White Hats are giving us a powerful opportunity to step back into our true nature, our true self, so that we can step back on the path and choose to walk that righteous path. But that's where the real work begins. And that's where these teachings are going to become so valuable. So you might want to go ahead and get started now, because the more we do now, the more powerfully we're going to be able to accelerate this process later on. The longer we wait, the more bumpy and painful and tumultuous it's going to be. So don't delay.
Yep.
Don't delay. It's all written there right in front of you. We know what we have to do. We can pretend we don't know. And that's what most everyone has done a lot of pretending, a lot of ignorance, ignoring the truth, ignoring what's right in your face. But it's going to be so blatant, so blatantly obvious that there is no possible way to ignore it any longer. It is God or Satan. Make your choice. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go up or down? So let's choose now.
We are vessels right now of amplification. We're amplifying the light so that everyone else can feel it and see it a little bit more. And remember.
Keyword, you said vessel. And what's a vessel? It's a ship. But when you were talking about like when you surround yourself with people you love, and it's just great. I was thinking Serenity, the ship Serenity from wait, what's the show called again?
Firefly.
Exactly. So it's just, yeah. But yeah, so vessel, you have vessels in your arms, in your legs, you have vessels everywhere, but you are a vessel. So isn't that a perfect metaphor? So
Yeah.
clean it up.
And again, for everyone listening, once again, Truth in Plain Sight, and once again, another one of these space shows telling you that this is all about inner space and the work that you need to do within you. So the theme song for Firefly is, burn the lands and boil the seas, but you can't take the skies from me. And that's because space is within you. There's nothing that they can do. They can burn the land and they can boil the seas, but they can never take your sweet serenity. And the serenity is when you surrender the dime, you pay the price, and the ferryman crosses the river, and you end up on those divine righteous shores. And then you see it. White shores, and a far distant green country under a swift sunrise. Father, mother, child. Father, mother, child, Jesus Christ rising. And that is enshrined in all these great stories, including that is the ending of the Lord of the Rings.
Rising to the Tiffany blue.
Rising, yeah.
Exactly. And the sky is where the Father is, right? It's where blue, Father is, right? So let's see. If they can't take the Father away from you, because that's the only thing they don't want you to go towards is inside, then you have everything. And then like Aaron and Justin were clearly outlining, then you can't serve two masters because I'm serving the one, and you can't take him away from me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
No idolatry.
And I think Michael would be okay with me sharing this little hint about what he's been dropping recently. But a big one has been about why this symbol is used, why this hand symbol is used by these powerful figures. And we know that the higher reason is because it is the symbol, the V, the vagina, the paying homage to the Divine Mother. And that's what's being brought back into balance, is this Divine Mother that has been so beaten down and destroyed for so long. So we have to bring her back together.
So what you're saying, Justin, is that why the white hats or the people on the side of the right are using the symbol in reverse, right? Instead of the pyramid, they're using show that again.
Yeah, the upside down pyramid, or the V, because you've got the two.
So the white hats, like Trump and Princess Di and those others that were pictured with their fingers like that.
I've put that post out on Facebook for 4 years, showing you. And what I assured everyone, and it's coming true now,
Bringing the
is
mother
that
back.
when these books come from the New Testament that tell the whole truth about Jesus Christ, you're going to see what Jesus Christ said. And that is, upon this materialistic plane of the duality, you must treat the mother just like the father, because she is the god of this land. She is the goddess of this land. So this is once again saying, I am not sucking off that acidic, toxic milk of the Babylon whore. I'm not sucking off of her tit anymore. I'm all in with the mother. And it isn't about, mother, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? And what's the first thing she's going to say? Take the lead from my child, from my son, the Son of Man, who came first and showed you the way. He was the good shepherd. That's all you have to do, is become the good shepherd and light your lantern and show the way, and then let people take their own steps to get there. But you light your lantern and show them the way. And you do that for all of God's creations, all of God's creations. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. What are you doing? I mean, I don't want to get into this tonight, but again, everyone needs to just take a deep breath and think about their food. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. You have to. How are you going to get life and health if you're eating death? It's common sense. And, going back to what Michael said, but just before he left, and then what Mike Penny said right after, and then what Justin said right after. And Justin knows from day one, all Colleen and I have ever done is just shared with everyone common sense, pure, simple, plain common sense. And people think we're geniuses because we're just sharing common sense. But that's all it is. It's just common sense. And it's not my common sense. It's just God's common sense. We just have the clarity to be able to hear, because we saw the 11:11 everywhere and we said, wow, this is like we got to pick up the phone. And that's it. And then it all starts to flow, but it flows to you. What does Mike Penny teach on we listen to Mike and on every single show, what is Mike saying? But I'm just telling you, you're listening to me and you're listening to Michael, but I'm just telling you what you need to be doing is going direct to source, not through the middleman, because I can misinterpret, I cannot hear, I could make a mistake in the way that I'm saying it to you. Go directly to source. Ultimately, that's everyone here. That's all we're teaching you, is to go direct to source, go direct to God. And this is not a big deal. It's just you have to get, and the quickest, easiest way to just get clarity inside your life so that you can calm and connect to God is be nice, be kind, not nice, but kind. When you are kind, when you are helping others, you feel good about yourself. And it's important that you feel good about yourself. That's how they rule you, by making you feel like shit, because everything that you're doing is wrong. And don't blame yourself for that, but take responsibility for the fact that everything you're doing is wrong. They taught you, they attacked you from the moment that you're born to do it the wrong way. Okay, but just start doing it the right way. And I guarantee Jesus and I guarantee God will never judge you once for it. If you have the courage to say, wow, it's the beauty of Evan Almighty and that wonderful scene at the end. And he says to God, I fought you. He goes, wow, I fought you the whole way. And God says, yep, I know you did, but you did it, son. You did it. And that's all that matters. We fight him the whole way. And he loves us more than anything that you could possibly imagine.
The prodigal son, the prodigal daughter.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Yeah, and that lays a lot of groundwork to understanding that we're not in a fight against our flesh and blood, but the principalities. And the principalities are nothing more than your pride and ego, which they have used against you to defy God, and they've borne that up. And it's really just like Charlie's saying and Justin's saying, it's all common sense. It's been in our face. And we've allowed pride and ego to take over, laziness, whatever the case may be. Those are all principalities that are used against us to defy God. And we can no longer accept those things, and we have to get on with it. We have to get on with it.
Yeah, that's right. We do have to get on, but you can't if you have that pride. If you have that pride, which is your ego, then you can't get on with it. It stops you. It is the block. It is and remember, symbolically, that is Dan of the North, and that is the viperous snake on the side of the road that you
Leviathan.
That's right. You're not even aware of, and then it sneaks up on you, but it blocks your path. It blocks your way. What did Moses do to get out of the desert? Moses spent 40 years wandering about the desert until finally he took the strength of his pride within him, his spine, and he cast it upon the ground, and immediately it turned into a snake. Now,
so that's surrendered.
That is surrendering. Now, this snake, the snake that is righteous, because everything is a duality, so not all snakes are evil. The snake that rises and uncoils in the rise is the righteous one. That is the snake that you follow. The brotherhood of the snake, which is purely evil, they're always subterranean. They're always going down. They are not seeking God. They are seeking the devil. They are the devil. And so the righteous is to cast down your pride and the Kundalini magnetic, because you're just saying, Mother, you're in charge of this material plane. I give it to you. That's what Moses was saying. What's the first thing that the mother did to Moses? right there. And then all of a sudden Moses can't get enough of these conversations with God. And he's like, where is this all coming from? I'm right behind you. I'm in the mercy seat. I'm right behind the very center of you in the mercy seat. And you're in the Ark of the Covenant. That is the center essence of it. That's all in the Bible. Read it for yourself. Genesis and Exodus and Leviticus. It's all there for you in the beginning pages of the Bible. You just have to have the courage and the patience to read it yourself.
And imagine Jesus doing all of these miracles all the time and teaching this beautiful gnosis. And he said, you will do greater things than this. And I kept thinking, really? And now I believe it.
It's hard to imagine, but
Now I believe now I know it. It's true. He's right. We're going to do greater things than that. And the Q team and Trump are just having, like you said, Justin, a preview, and they're going to preview it all for us. And we're going to go, holy, we can do that. The best is yet to come, you guys. You just have to believe that. You have to know that. I keep saying believe, but you have to know that. Yeah.
and Justin is not saying, Aaron is not saying, Mike Penny is not saying, ML is not saying, Michael Brian Protzman is not saying, Eugene is not saying, Colleen's not saying, I am not saying to take down these names and to hate these people who are lying to you forever and ever and ever. It's about, you have to be careful whom you follow. And that's why this group that are true patriots, not the faintriots of the fake triots, but the true patriots, Father, God first, patriots, they're few and far between. And they all have one thing in common, and that is God. And that's what's being said by Q. Careful who you follow. Follow God. Do the right thing. Be righteous. The code of the Bushido of the Shogun are the 7 heavenly virtues. There's no difference. It's all the one story in every single culture. You either cast your net to the right or you're casting it with Satan.
So be kind, man.
Is it backwards? No, it's backwards. You gotta read it.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's perfect.
But do read it. Do read it.
Yeah, chastity versus lust, temperance versus gluttony, charity versus greed, diligence versus sloth. That's one of the biggest ones. This slothfulness has just become so rampant now. Patience versus wrath, kindness versus envy, humility versus pride. And when you do that one, humility versus pride, which is to take everything off of yourself and to give it to your own worst enemy, that is when you're strongest. That is when you truly wear the armor of God. And that's why the elves in the Lord of the Rings, they ate lambas bread. How switched on was Professor Tolkien? They ate lambas bread. They ate lamb bread. They ate Jesus Christ bread.
The lamb in us.
The lamb in
Not-
us.
Not bread made from lamb. Just want to clarify for anyone listening.
No, that's right. And again, what did Tolkien say? Just to clarify that point in the book, what did Tolkien say? It works best when you do not muddle it with human foods. So you only want to be taking this bread of Jesus Christ, which is not a food and it's not a thought. It's taking no thought for your life, and it is just connecting to God. And that's all it is. And that's this lambus bread. And these are the elves who lived what? I mean, come on, you can do it. Forever. The elves in Tolkien's story, they live forever. So you want to live forever in heaven at the right-hand side of God, which is heaven upon earth. That's here. If you want to do it, you have to eat lambus bread.
It's a process.
Yeah, but it is like Mike Penny always says. That shows you how much love and patience Mike has for even his own worst enemies. Mike always says, but this is a process. Slow down, Charlie. This is a process. Okay.
Well, I think it might be good to touch on, because I see this is often confused when we're talking about pride. We should talk about the difference between pride and conviction. Pride and this authority based on the truth, because a lot of people will come at Charlie or come at myself or come at any of us here and say, well, how do you know that? How can you speak so firmly on this? What makes what you say better than anyone else and how they say it? And then they'll jump to that pride thing. Oh, you're too prideful. You're too arrogant. And that's the such a distortion on what that is. And we talked a lot about this in the decoding of the book of Matthew, and what gave Jesus the authority to speak so powerfully on these things, because he had God. And that's the difference. That's the true difference. If you're prideful, you're operating out of ego. You're operating out of your own isolated, separate, illusory, separate self. And that's what's giving you pride. Whereas this conviction and this authority invested in the truth, it's coming from nothing else but yeah, through my connection from God. It's not me. I'm not speaking from me. I didn't make this up. This is the truth. This is the highest of high. If you want to say that's coming from me, that's on you. I'm not saying that. I'm not laying claim to this. I'm not charging money so that you can hear me say it, or saying that it's mine. I'm going to copyright this, or it's got to come that way. But I think it's really important to know the difference between this, because it's a tricky trap that those Satan worshipers, either knowingly or unknowingly, use to trying to bat down those who are speaking the truth, to call them arrogant or prideful or whatever else, which is just a completely disingenuous use of the word.
But no, Justin will give you the rest of the truth in the third hour for $300.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll get to the really good stuff next. Just for a low cost of $2.99 a month. That's all. It's real cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how you know it's true. It's free of charge, right? So, you're not trying to make a buck off of anyone. You're not trying to take advantage of anyone. And like breath, I mean, all the best things in the world are free, right? You don't have to pay a thing for it. So,
Yeah, just to go off what Charlie and Eugene and Justin are saying, I mean, look at our society. They cater to the 7 sins.
Yeah. They
only want us to look at ourselves and take care of ourselves. And the only way to find the virtues is to go within, and find that inside. There is no virtues on the outside world in our society unless you find it within first.
So beautiful. And this is the thing about Jesus Christ and the importance of Jesus Christ, and how Jesus Christ fit hand to glove in every single culture, because Jesus Christ is a shogun. Jesus Christ is a warrior for God in Japan. He absolutely is. Every single culture Jesus Christ fits into perfectly, because he is in perfect alignment with God. And all of these beautiful cultures, they were, until the slippery, slimy snake from the sewer came along to muddy the waters. All of these peoples and nations were in alignment to God. And it only takes, that's why, speaking earlier, we did in the show about entrenching God and entrenching Jesus Christ and the Mother into the very fabric of how we tell time, or how we, tell an hour or a day or a week or a month or a year. We have to encode this one story, and the whole point and purpose to everything, father, mother, child, has to be encoded, because if we don't, we're going to forget everything again. They're just going to lie to us again about everything and twist everything upside down. We have to decode everything. To me, the 13-month moon calendar makes perfect sense, because of course weeks and months are moons. They are based on the moon. Day and year is based on the sun, but weeks and months are based on the moon cycle. 13 moons of 28 days gives you exactly 364 days. And the 365th day is for God. And if you entrench that into our system, no one will ever fall astray again. No one will ever forget, because every single year you're confronted with this day of service to God. Every single year, it's entrenched as to who we are. And these are the kinds of things that we need to do.
That honestly has to be put into our cellular memory. So repetition, it's so important, so important. And that's why I think and going into meditation and just allowing God to put that frequency inside of us, which is cellular memory.
Yeah, and we need to turn Sunday into Sunday. So we need to just you do the U catastrophe and change the U to an O. Sunday is Sunday. You know, how do you not get this? He is the Son of Man who came first, who is perfect and showed us the way. You want to be a divine masculine, you already know what to do. It's all there for you. It's all been done before and it's all there for you. So that's Sunday. Sunday means that you need to be Christ-like. And guess how the rest of the week will play out? If that's the first day, God is the God of the living, he gave you the
I
answer.
mean, the Sabbath day, which would be Saturday.
No, the Sabbath day is God day.
Okay.
That is in stillness and silence for God and fasting on the Sabbath day. But the first day of the week has to be the Jesus Christ day, because then it determines everything that comes next. So if we're Christ-like powerfully on the Son,
Which is
S-O-N
an
day,
action word.
which is to do, Jesus did, then that is determining. By the time you get to the hump, which is Wednesday, you know, you're on this path to heaven. You've already done the work by starting off on the right foot. All these ancient sayings of old, the right foot, that's Jesus Christ. And so we have to do these things. Sunday has to become the Sunday, and it has to be spent in observance of Jesus Christ, which is just to be Christ-like.
A lot of people here are asking about diet and how do you eat a balance? What do you eat for your food and stuff like that. I just wanted to really quickly say, on our website, there's a page that Tony has set up as well that you can go to and reference the types of foods. And we absolutely are frugivores, so don't listen to that person on the chat that's saying we're not.
No, we absolutely are
And
100%.
we don't need to go into that.
Everyone is, they've just forgotten.
And that's just cleaning our vessel, and it's a process. And
So we are alkaline, and they've got you eating acid. So again, this is not rocket science. Do a science experiment and go into the supermarket and look at everywhere, every row, every aisle. Look everywhere you go in the supermarket. Ask yourself the question: why is everything you're looking at acidic? Why? And then do another experiment when you get back home. Take some acid, and just in any form, just grab some acid, pour it out, and observe what happens. Acid kills everything. And they've got you eating acidic foods. I'm just telling you what is not acidic. Fruits are alkaline. Vegetables mostly are alkaline.
I like to call them foods of the angels.
Green foods are alkaline. I'm just saying. Look at litmus paper, okay? Red, hell below, that's acidic. Heavenly Tiffany blue above is alkaline, and then the goal is to become the middle way, which is green. Litmus paper tells it's all encoded. It's all the one story. It's all there for you. It's common sense. Just saying. So if you're talking about food, you have to consume what is alkaline. Now, look, folks, I don't have an agenda here. You just have to consume what is alkaline. If that was cheesies, then by all means, eat cheesies. But the fact of the matter is, all processed foods are acidic. And your supermarket only sells you processed foods. Well, Charlie, but they do sell fruits and vegetables. Yes, grown in Venezuela, picked 6 months before they're supposed to be picked, so there's no vine ripening. If it's on a vine, then it's supposed to mature on the vine. If you pick it early, it doesn't mature. Do you know what supermarkets do to make all their fruits and vegetables turn color so it looks like it's an apple, looks like it's a strawberry, looks like it's a zucchini? They spray it with perfume, and then the perfume causes this chemical reaction with the skin, and it just causes it to basically hurry up and die. So then it goes through this coloration process. And that's why foods in your supermarket, in particular fruits and vegetables, spoil so quickly, because they treat them with perfume, which just speeds up this last process. but you've missed the miracle. You've missed the divinity. It's like when babies are, again, this is, I have no agenda here. I'm just here to tell you the truth. Look at these hospitals, and when babies are born, why do they rush to clamp off the umbilical cord as soon as the child is born? That's sick. That is insane. Why would you do that? And then they're trying to cut it off and remove it from the child. Why? Because that's God that is funneling through with all the wisdom, with all the strength, with all the immunity, with everything that you need is funneling through.
Besides the fact that it's a Luciferian agenda out there, it's capitalism as well. So the beds cost money. We got to get that lady out of there because there's somebody else needs to get in that bed. And the doctors, you know, he's on a time and he only wants to be there for so long. So let's just cut it. He's not going to wait a couple of hours while the baby's, you know.
So our little, just really quickly, our little grandson, Dante, had a natural birth at home in the water. And he was connected to the umbilical cord until the placenta fell off. And then the placenta was ground up and it was gifted back to Sinead, and Shani used it how she used it. And Dante has grown up just eating fruits, raw fruits and vegetables. That's it. That's all he's ever, never sick. He is so smart. And he is so kind. He is so calm. He's not rambunctious. You know, again, never been
It's
sick.
a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. I'm not selling you anything. I have no agenda here. Again, if the answer was eating an egg, then I would tell you the answer is eating an egg, but it's not, because an egg is going to make you fat, and an egg is purely acidic, and it will kill you because you need to be alkaline. So
Enough of that.
Yeah, eggs are chicken periods, at least the ones they're making now. And there's some more experiments. Look at your teeth. Not a carnivore, not a herbivore, not an omnivore. What's left? Look at your hands. You don't have claws. You're not a killing machine. Look at your gut. I mean, it's too short to be a herbivore. It's too long to be a carnivore. So you're right in the middle. You're a frugivore. And the last experiment I'll say is after you take a shiza, don't wipe and see what happens. You get a rash, it hurts. And why is that? It's because the acids are coming out of you. So why would you put shit in? You're supposed to get the shit out, right? Right? Am I wrong here, guys? Can someone correct me?
You're absolutely right. And I worked in a restaurant for many, many years, and these commercial restaurants got a new thing coming when this all turns around. And God's face is shown, because it's just like the supermarkets. Real chefs used to go to the garden and buy fruits and vegetables right off the vine when it was perfect to be pulled and served in a restaurant. Now they are looking at nothing but spreadsheets, and they purchase all these tricks like he talked about, of these perfumes to make it look like it's supposed to. And they actually throw out the ugly ones, which are the good ones that matured, and they're sitting in, and a lot of these are sitting in warehouses for months before they come to market or to a restaurant to be served. And really pay attention to what Charlie's saying, because you'll help yourself a lot, because your body, the Creator created you to heal yourself with the proper nutrients into the body.
So in France, way back in history, as soon as the grapes were ripe, they would make the wine and they'd run it to town by foot. The waiters would actually, they have a race over there still to this day where the waiters run around this race and they carry a platter, and on top of it would be a wine bottle and glasses. And the waiters run this race still to this day with that. My sister has ran the race over there before, so I know about it. She was on the Today Show years ago, where they said her name and everything. So you probably looked that name up. And she ran this waiter race over there, and that's how I learned about it. They had it on the Today Show. God knows they were telling somewhat of the truth.
Yeah, and really quickly with restaurants, there has never ever been, there's a long history of eating out and restaurants, but there's no history of these menus. And that's because everything, like Mike said, has always been done on the day. Everything is on the day. It's just whatever is fresh. It's whatever is fresh, what the chef likes best, and then he creates on the day. So what kind of system do we now have? You have massive freezers. You have massive freezers, and you have this process of having to buy huge, so you got huge overhead, and you just have huge amounts of supplies in your restaurant. You have these long menus with this, and this on your. It has to be changing every day. It's whatever is fresh, whatever is best, whatever is available. And that is a daily thing. So everything is upside down. And I mean everything. And it relates all the way right back to just going out to eat. And, you know, Mike has done such a great job with this. And I just want to reiterate it for everyone. You know, like Mike says, when the reveal finally does present itself and this awakening occurs, when this awakening starts, you just need to realize that it's God at the helm, and everyone who has been knowingly, purposefully lying and harming others, you're going to get your just rewards. And I'm not going to sit back and laugh and point fingers or anything like that. And Mike and I will be the first ones there to help you up off the ground. But just know that you did this. You did this. You are laying your own groundwork here. You can build your house on the most solid of rock where no tempest will ever hurt or harm before, or you can build on the sandy bottom of the desert of the valley floor, and every single tempest will wash away whatever you put up. That is up to you. And there is no way to escape this. That's what Mike Penny is sharing with you I hear him say this on every show. This is what's coming. You are making your own bed, and you're going to lie in it, and you're going to receive the rewards, because they're always just with God. There are no unjust rewards. So if you're working like a bat out of hell to create hell on earth, then I know what your rewards are going to be.
COVID, bat out of hell.
COVID, that's right. Bat out of hell from China. That's right. And again, you have 90% of the world's population going, yeah, that totally makes sense. Somebody ate a diseased bat in Wuhan, China, and now there's this. I mean, how dumb do you have to fucking be? I'm sorry to be so blunt, but how fucking dumb do you have to be that somebody ate? Just like AIDS came from some people that were taking trips to Africa and having sex with monkeys.
Hey, you only said it twice. The power of three. You got to say it one more time.
How dumb do you fucking have to be? It's incredible. It's incredible. You'll believe anything. AIDS. Wow.
The era of common sense is coming back, and Trump that's one of his beautiful gifts to all of us, is remembering common sense. Yeah. And he said it with Mike Lindell the other day.
So coincidence theorist 198, right? So it's just a coincidence. They come over here and they kill the red man. Then they bring the black man over, slave on his ass. Then they go out west and shove the brown man down in Mexico, build a bomb in California, go bomb the yellow man. And every disease, AIDS, Ebola, SARS, Zika, Corona, it all starts in a colored country. But hey, we're the good guys. NATO, the ones that Trump is just got under his thumb, because the second he became president, every one of our allies was the enemy, and every enemy was our ally, because we were the fucking enemy, dumbasses. We were the one that went around putting everybody under the thumb of the pyramid scheme, the central bankers, because everywhere we went, we either used economic hitmen, or we used our military, and we blew the shit out of everything. We didn't go to a country that has a Nordstrom's and a Bon Marché and a Home Depot. They have it when we leave. Go find out what they have in Syria. Go find out what Assad has, where he walks through the market and everybody runs up to him and hugs him because he has an 87% approval rating. and the other people are bought and controlled. They're so broke that you know, the leeches come in and offer them some money to do whatever they have to do it because they're so damn broke. You know, because the system is designed to break everybody. So they have some people that do some things that are bad. It makes it look like people hate Assad when it's really bought and paid for. Same thing happened in Ukraine. It was funny how we don't have an assistant secretary of state anymore because we never had one in the first place. But we had Field McConnell's sister, Christine Marcy, the assistant secretary of state, who said in 1978 set up the secret executive service, which took effect in 1979. We were told, well, the politicians now, which all have a criminal record, that are all dumbasses, need some assistance in the computer world. So the secret executive service, their executives are going to help them, you know, transition to the electronic age. Bullshit. The politicians, the criminals that had all kinds of criminal records, they'd spend 75% of their day raising money, and all the money people knew that they're going to give money to both sides, make it look like, like both sides matter. And of course, they're going to dole it out so slowly that the politicians have to spend 75% of their time raising money, and 25% of the time they actually try and do something. And then 75% of the time, the secret executive service undoes it all. And so she was in charge of that Con Air, which they were flying around children on. And she had actually an army of women that worked for her. And they would, they're like, well, they're just kind of special high-end prostitutes, because this guy right here, my new man, because I'm a prostitute woman for Christine Marcy, I know exactly how to treat him, and I know all his secrets. And man, he just loves the shit out of me. So he gets married, and then I blackmail the crap out of him over the 3-year period. I get divorced. I own him. I move on to the next man. And they would go to these military industrial complex men or bankers or anybody in a position, and they would corrupt them. People have no idea who Christine Marcy is, that she's Field McConnell's sister. Field McConnell went to high school where Barack Obama went to school. He's the one that told us about the QR-11 chips and 14 chips and 17 chips, that Space Force could turn off those ships and park them out of the way and draw the big dick and balls with the Ever Given. You think that's a joke? Everything's happening for a reason. This isn't, hey, I want to go read my super comics and go watch the cartoons on TV. And, these dumbasses at work that I worked with, dumbasses, would talk about the Howard Stern show every day, or they'd talk about The Simpsons, or these adult cartoons. They're geared for fucking 12-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And every one of them knows that I'm way smarter than them because they didn't like me. Smart people don't have friends. So many of them are dumbasses. Just the world's full of dumbasses.
It's true.
Conditioned to be dumbasses, and more dumbasses, and raise dumbasses, and show them more dumbass shit on the TV.
They had us.
Sick of it.
They had us by the balls. We were so screwed.
Oh,
Yep.
We were so screwed.
Yep. Coincidence theorist 198. President Trump 198. Calm before the storm 198. Statue of Liberty 198. Murder by numbers 198. Michael Thomas Flynn 198. 1313 198. I love you, Jesus 198. Last Trumpet 198. Elephant in the Room 198. This is not a test 198. Holy Spirit of God 198. Tree of Knowledge 198. The Calm Before the Storm 198.
calm before the storm, not the calm before. Just calm before the storm. The calm before the storm is 231. You'd have to subtract the 33 degrees, the word the out.
Okay, yeah, they've got that here. So yeah, but you're right. I remember that. I remember you saying
positive, negative 198.
Yeah.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh 198. Space Force All the Way 198. WWG1, WGA Worldwide 198. There's plenty of 198s.
It's unbelievable.
Destroyer of Evil 198.
Yep.
The
President J. Kennedy 198. Greatest comeback ever 198. The Anointed Winner 198. The Resurrection 198. I love you, Jesus 198.
Servant of
Destroyer of Evil 198, and Blue Oyster Cult 198, like I've been sharing with you. The Servants of God 198, Divine Protection 198. And here's the most telling one of all. Subterranean Aliens 198. I know how to read the R post. I can read.
And the interest rates got to a peak in 1980. Go figure. Silver was at its high in 1980.
Right?
Gold was at $800. 800 and then 50, like 85 storm 85. WWG1, WGA 85, silver 85. Yeah, 50 Nazi. 800 pound gorilla in the room. Try Donald Trump. 4, 10, 20. 4 times 10 is what? 40 times 20 is 800. Go figure. Elephant in the room 198. President J. Kennedy 198. How would you like to be in a room with the 800 pound gorilla and the elephant in the room? The 2 twin towers, the 2 twin flames. Good luck, Cabal. You're toast.
Right.
Well, and then 198 reduces, you do reduce it once to 99 most high, you know, it's in your face.
99 and 99 is 198.
Yep. And 9 and 9 is 18, which is cheese,
R.
1 is life, and 1 and 8 is 9, which is divine.
Well, 18 is me, which is 18, which is R, but I'm just Michael.
Sometimes. Okay, you guys have already been on long tonight talking and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to stress Mike at all. So
And Justin.
especially Justin
get some
and
sleep,
and
Victor.
Aaron, I can see how tired Aaron
right.
looks as well, and Michael's falling into this nirvana period.
Eugene looks like he's ready to go. He looks like he's ready to party.
Yeah, Eugene, blast some of that, some of that energy.
So what I'm going to do to end the show tonight are 2 songs from George Harrison, and you will not believe them. The second of the songs is the answer, is the way, and hopefully everyone will sing it along with us. But this first song, you have to hear this to believe this. So this is everything that we've talked about on the show tonight. Everybody who's railing against God right now. And that's what's being said in this song. So the first song by George Harrison is The Light That Lighted the World. And that's Jesus Christ. And listen to how George explains this, how those who simply will not believe in God, will not accept Jesus Christ into their life, how they rail against this. And listen to how George describes this, because it's incredible. What's going on right now is perfectly explained in that song. You think he knew a thing or two? So that's The Light That Has Lighted the World, one of the most beautiful songs ever, and that's George Harrison. And then My Sweet Lord. And you call out the name of our sweet Lord Jesus, then you've got one heck of a great frequency, a good frequency. So that's how we're going to end the show. And I love everyone. And I'm just going to switch over to share screen. And I hope everyone enjoys this. But again, please take a real hard look here at these lyrics in these songs. Just be a sec. Ooh.
How some people I've heard how some people have said that I've changed, that I'm not what I was, how it really is a shame. The thought thoughts in the heads manifest on the brow like bad scars from ill feeling. They themselves arouse. So hateful of anyone that is happy or free. They live all their lives without looking to see the light that has lighted the world. How people just won't accept change, as if nature itself they prefer rearranged. So hard to move on when you're down in a hole where there's so little chance to experience soul. I'm grateful to anyone that is happy or free, for giving me hope while I'm looking to see the light that has lighted the world.
Okay, and a really quick segue into our final song for tonight. And I really encourage everyone at home to be singing out loud these lyrics, because when you sing it, you create a frequency and you bring it to life. And that's what this is all about.
Our cells are listening.
Every ounce of you is listening. Isn't that wonderful? And we're back, and so
was
special.
great.
Just remember, in Sanskrit, Krishna is Christ, and Hari is a lot of people think is holy. It's hallowed, hallowed Christ. Hallowed Christ is what you're saying, because they knew, because there's one story, and they tell it a little differently in all these different countries, and that's beautiful. That's not divisive. That's unifying, because they all knew. They knew this one beautiful, beautiful story of Christ our Savior. So it's great stuff. So I just want to say thank you very much to everyone in the chat. You've been amazing. Thank you very, very much to the boys and to Mike for coming on the show, because they already did a show with each other with incredible. Can't wait to watch it, because the stuff that they're apparently dropping and talking about is so cool. But thank you very much. Just tireless energy, warriors of God, righteous men who are on the right-hand side of this thing. And that's what I just wanted to point out, with that video earlier today. It's just showing you it's a movie, and that the queue is real, and that Michael Brian Protzman is on the right-hand side of things. And if you can't see this, that's on you. So I'll leave it at that, and just invite anyone who wants to say goodnight to say goodnight. And we love you guys.
Michael, you're hilarious.
If you, I just fried their brains some more.
We're missing out.
We can't tell you. It's just you'd have to show you.
Okay.
And it kind
It
of
just doesn't stop.
it just needs a little more context, but it's just every single time he drops another link about how he's connected to this plan that's unfolding right before our very eyes, undeniably proving that it exists and it's happening in real time. But just the number of links to him, it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
The level of those links.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Did you know ... question mark is 421?
And then it just gets him going, and you can't help but just get into it.
Oh,
But that's all we do now. This is life now.
It's wonderful.
It is.
Yeah.
oh, it's
It
over
really
the
is.
top crazy.
No wonder Justin's starting to sound like 48.
Rubbing
Yeah.
off. Mhm.
Yeah, I'll take my mask off here pretty soon too. My chia plan has been working a little bit too.
Yeah. Turn back the knob.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for having us on tonight. It was a beautiful
Thank you.
show to be a part of, and really looking forward to go back and watching all the shows that I've missed. I've been on some of them, but I haven't been able to see a lot of it. But I miss you guys so much. So I'm always so grateful to get to spend this little time with you, and just get to really reconnect. But I really looking forward to those hugs when we get to do those again, to be reunited in the flesh. So
Fireside chats.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Really looking forward to that. But I feel you so palpably here with us, all you guys. Feel you so much, so strongly with us. So you're not far.
No, and just really quickly, what I just want to reiterate again to Mike and ML. ML's not here, but to Mike and ML, and then to the three boys, what you're doing is so special. And for you guys to stay, for Mike to go to Dallas, be boots on the ground, that was so. I know what happened. I know. I saw. I felt. I know what happened on Dallas that night, and it was magical. And Mike made it happen because he was boots on the ground to allow so many to see it. And then for the three of you not to leave and to have this beautiful crew with you, all I can say is it's divine. It's very special. It's very, very special. You were called to do this. You're doing it. Somehow it's working. And again, there's a group of people who are railing against this, and I pray for them. I really, really do pray
Amen.
for them to find the happiness within them. Don't rail against beauty. Don't rail against light. Don't rail against love. accept it, be part of it, and rise, ascend to God in heaven. Don't be part of this mucking about in the dirt. So
Well, what I've always said is everyone's going to get a chance to redeem themselves, but you choosing this route, you choosing to go down that path is just going to make it a lot more difficult. You're just accruing a lot more painful lessons that you're going to have to go through. But you're going to get a chance to redeem yourself. But why take that route when you can take the more alkaline path now, the path of least resistance? Go that way. Go to the right. It's much easier that way. It's much more flowing, and you don't have to struggle. You don't have to toil. You just have to let God in and go that path. Don't follow the fear. Don't follow the doubt. But if you do choose that way, you're still going to have a chance to redeem it. Just know it's going to be filled with a lot more struggle.
It's definitely rewards are built into the work, and once you choose, you wonder why you didn't choose before and why you're putting it off so long. You can't turn back. So it's the only way to go. Jesus is the truth, the light, and the way. It's not a he, it's a what. Same thing with God. Not a he, it's a what. It's scalar wave, it's magnetism. So once we wrap our head around what God is, we can embody the fraction of God that we are and become the Jesus, the Christ in one, like we're supposed to, and walk the path. So I love everybody here, everybody on film, on camera, everybody in chat. We got about 50 or 60 in the other room that are probably waiting for us to come out, that are true fighters, that are really going through this process in living time. And it's an amazing story to be a part of and to be the words that are going to be written in Bibles.
And we have a huge hug for every one of those in the other room. Thank you so much, you beautiful souls.
I love each and every one of you as well. And I'm gonna definitely dip out and then try to wash my face and get some shut eye. Okay. Thank y'all so much for having me, and we'll see you Sunday night. Everybody's welcome to join us on Sunday night as well.
Thanks, brother. Love you.
night, everybody. We love you. Thanks,
Love you, everybody.
You